What's up, everybody? This is the DraftKings Sweat Show live from Boston, from the DraftKings offices. We'll call it the DraftKings studio. I'm Socrdave David Kitchen. Week 3, and the game is about to start between Kansas City and the Green Bay Packers, and we have ourselves a little bit of a sweat. This week has been an absolutely crazy week. We'll have, again, contestants. We'll have DK analysts. We'll have just regular DraftKings players on the show. We've got some trivia and we got some games. So stick around. It'll be a fun night. We got a lot of sweating. Let's get first to the promo that we're doing. Use hashtag DKTV on Twitter, making sure that they don't return this. Okay, good. They didn't return the kick for a touchdown. So use hashtag DKTV on Twitter and let us know the first scoring play. And whatever the first scoring play is, you'll get something big. And I'm not talking about like small fries. I'm talking about 3 digits big, at least the value over $100. I don't even know what that's going to be. They're looking at me like, don't do it. But I'm doing it. So first scoring play, and be detailed as far as like, it's got to be like a 27-yard pass to James Jones, something like that. So be detailed as possible to get the tiebreaker. Again, use hashtag DKTV. We'll be in there. But man, talk about a lot of potential options. This game had the highest over-under of the night, and 2 of the question marks coming into the game, we'll talk a little bit in a second with Adam Levitan, were Lacey and Devontae Adams, and they both were cleared to play tonight. It is a wet field, so I'm interested to see how that's going to possibly affect those 2 injuries, but a lot of people were hoping that Lacey would be out because James Starks was minimum salary, but Lacey's playing, and he just got a carry. So should be interesting to see what happens there. Some people still have Starks. So when we take a look at the leaderboard, we had a crazy week this week. Hoothead with a 301. And I had the stats department dig a little today. Second highest millionaire maker total is a 301. First was Jay Ginner 09 or something with a 303. So a 301, the second highest ever millionaire maker. And we'll go to their lineup right now. We have Cam Newton, Devontae Freeman, Randall, Fitzgerald, Julio Jones, Brandon Marshall, Greg Olsen, LeGarrette Blount, and the Seahawks. Is LeGarrette Blount last year's Gray? That's the question. We talked about if you can predict Bill Belichick, if you can read his mind, if you understand the mind of Bill Belichick, then you should be able to make money. And that's the case here. LeGarrette Blount, 2.2% owned in the flex spot, 28.2 points. A lot of people were on Dion Lewis, myself included, but we weren't quite sure what was in store for LeGarrette Blount. The other thing is these 2 running backs, Devontae Freeman and Joseph Randall, both around 7.7, 7.9% owned. And man, talk about a lot of scoring. There was plenty of scoring. Let's pull the Run J lineup. Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton was good Andy. There's the question of good Andy and bad Andy. Which one is going to show up? I saw a few analysts, including Matthew Berry, talking about that you just can't trust Andy Dalton. But man, he put on a clinic. There was a little bit of bad Andy and good Andy. And how big was that AJ Green touchdown? Was huge. So as far as Andy Dalton and AJ Green, that was the combo that Run J had. Devontae Freeman, Frank Gore, Greg Olsen, Steve Smith, Panthers, Julio Jones, and Moncrief. I always like to take a look at some of these lineups because you wonder what were they thinking, or what could they have done better. With Run J, it was interesting because they played a running back wide receiver combo, not paired with the quarterback. So that in itself was interesting. And they also went Steve Smith Sr. and Panthers defense. So they went a wide receiver and the Panthers D. And Steve Smith is not returning kicks. So That was an interesting pairing, but maybe like Frank Gore got him on a guy like Steve Smith Sr., and so that's sometimes what happens with this stuff. All right, so uh, we have the Chiefs and Packers playing right now, and let's go ahead and bring in Adam Levitan. Adam is one of the DraftKings analysts. He hosts the Daily Fantasy Edge podcast and also does a matchup breakdown and a lot of other stuff for the DraftKings playbook. Adam, are you there?
I am. What's going on tonight, man?
Oh, you can hear me. You can see me. Life is good. Adam, as far as this game tonight, there are a number of players in the game. I mean, you're talking about from Green Bay. I feel like there's like 6 people that you could have in your lineup tonight.
Yeah. Did you see Randall Cobb wide open on that third down, and Aaron Rodgers threw to a covered Devontae Adams who hurt his ankle? It looked like, or re-injured his ankle on that play.
Yeah. So Devontae Adams, got the pass, and was so Randall Cobb was wide open. Then is that what
Oh
you're
my
saying?
God, I need Cobb so bad. It's so hard, like watching these games when you need one thing and like he misses him wide open. But yeah, there were a lot of plays in this game. I thought James Jones had a really good matchup against the outside corners of the Chiefs who are really struggling. I thought obviously Randall Cobb, I have a ton of him. It just felt like an Aaron Rodgers game to me. I wasn't on Lacey or Starks. Lacey looks like kind of fat, by the way, and I know his nickname is Fat Eddie, but he looks bigger Fat Eddie than usual in this game. Yeah, and then on the other side of the ball, I thought Jamal Charles had almost as good of an expectation as Peterson and Bell. And then I thought Travis Kelce was a strong play. I actually went Kelce over Greg Olsen in a bunch of tournament lineups, which Travis Kelce only needs like 150 yards and 3 touchdowns to make me look right on that one. So yeah, a lot of plays in this game.
Yeah, as far as the Eddie Lacy, like you said, a lot of people had Starks, and Devontae Adams is if Devontae Adams is hurt, that kind of helps the Cobb and the James Jones shares as well. Can you confirm that he's hurt, or did he just limp off?
Yeah, I just saw him limp off, but I thought he seemed like he came into this game pretty banged up. I mean, they had him probable on Saturday, but he was with Lacey in the training room all week, so looked like an aggravation to me. I'm not sure.
And that was a question that I had as far as like you saw it rain. It was like raining in the pregame, and now it's raining. Like so, if you have an ankle injury or any sort of lower leg injury, wet surface is not the best surface of all. So I'm wondering why he even played. With that being said,
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. But, when they list them probable, I assume that they're reasonably close to 100%. I mean, these teams list guys questionable that they know are going to play. So when they list them probable, I'm like, oh, well, he's fine, but apparently not. Yeah. And in terms of the weather, I actually got a lot of questions about that. Like, I usually don't let rain affect any decisions whatsoever. It's really wind. And I know Bales has done research and has like data to back this up, but wind like over 15 miles an hour, like it kind of starts trending downwards in terms of the stats, and like over 20 it keeps going down, and over 25 it keeps going down, but rain doesn't really have much of an effect on offensive stats.
yeah, we did get a tweet. Devontae Adams getting looked at by the Packers trainers as the offense prepares to take the field. That from at Albert Breer. We had a long pass. Was that to Jeff Janis? It was. It was to Jeff Janis. So Devontae Adams is on the sideline with his helmet off, with his ankle wrapped, actually. So he will not be playing. And sure enough, they're showing the replay where he hurt his ankle again. So tough break if you had a lot of Adams in your lineup. And again, if you had James Jones or Cobb shares, you're looking good. As far as some other options in this game, Richard Rodgers was another one at 2.5K. Felt like he could really open up a lot from those other options. But little did we know that what happened was he basically some of the higher scoring options were not the ones that went off.
Yeah, my lower tier tight ends were Fleener and Ebron, and they were 3,000 and 3,300, I believe. I know getting down to 2,500 for Rodgers was saved even more salary. Yeah, I mean, when guys are 2,500, it's like they do not need much to pay it off. Like, 7 points or 8 points is all you really need. But I think Richard Rodgers is so touchdown dependent. Like, I would not project him for more than like 30 yards in any game. So for me, I didn't really consider him that much. I know you had him. Did you use him in cash, Richard Rodgers?
Maybe. I did, because I thought I was being clever. At the most, I had Kelsey. I had a lot of Kelsey and a lot of Richard Rodgers. I thought I was being clever by going Dion Lewis, Richard Rodgers, and Sproles, and going with the high price wide receivers, including Edelman. And you talk about that Patriots game, and that was just kind of a mess. Like, a few no-name wide receivers catching the ball. Obviously, they wanted to get Blunt the ball, and the guy winning $1 million right now has Blunt in his lineup. So if you predicted that correctly, you got close to 30 points.
Yeah, and there were reports last week that from most of the Boston beat writers that said, well, the Patriots, want to get LeGarrette Blount more involved this week. They want to see a little bit more of LeGarrette Blount this week, but he only had 7 snaps in the previous game. So I was like, well, LeGarrette Blount's going to play more, but what if it's only like 15 snaps, or what if it's only like 18 snaps? And if it was that, then he wasn't worth a play. If we knew that he was going to basically play the entire second half, I think he got 28 snaps in the second half. Then obviously he would have been a play. But thankfully, the Patriots are on a bye this week upcoming, so we don't have to think about the Dion Lewis versus LeGarrette Blount disaster for another couple weeks.
Yeah, Eddie Lacy got a little shovel pass, so now the Packers are in the 10, and this is where the sweat starts for a lot of people. Like you said, there's a lot of people on this on this Packers offense. And also, if you have like Kelsey shares, you're wanting them to score and score quick. And if they score in this drive, you're talking about like 5 minutes with 3 possessions. Like, there's going to be a lot of possessions. As I don't even know who that was. Number 88.
Oh, Ty Montgomery.
Ty Montgomery, yeah, from Stanford.
Oh boy.
So he caught that pass. But if you're sweating something, you're just glad that that's not any of the other, like, that's best case scenario, basically.
Yep.
Like, we talked about 5 options. He's not one. He's not one of them. So Ty Montgomery with the catch. He's one of the DFS college football all-stars. As far as like the over 40 club, we had, I think, 5, maybe 6 players over 40 points, and that might be a record. But as far as the players over 40 points, can you name all 5?
Devontae Freeman.
Okay.
Julio Jones.
Okay.
Joseph Randle.
Next.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Larry Fitzgerald did not get 40.
No,
he did not.
I have the worst memory. This was just yesterday, and I'm already forgetting.
AJ Green, Steve Smith, Devontae Freeman, Julio Jones, Keenan Allen.
Oh, wow.
5. Keenan Allen, strong week 1, nothing on week 2, back in week 3. I know you were talking about Melvin Gordon. Mm-hmm. He and Danny Woodhead both threw up stinkers. Talk to me about this San Diego offense with Keenan Allen.
Yeah, I wasn't on Keenan Allen because I thought that Xavier Rhodes was kind of an up-and-coming tough matchup for guys. And I haven't gone back and watched the game yet, but Xavier Rhodes did leave late in the first half with a concussion. So I don't know if Keenan Allen started doing work after that or if he was doing work already. But, yeah, I mean, Keenan Allen is a possession receiver, kind of like a little bit more better than Jarvis Landry, I think, in terms of getting down the field, but kind of in that same mold. But yeah, I mean, we saw what he did his rookie year, obviously regressed allegedly because he didn't have work ethic, good work ethic as a sophomore, kind of coasted. And now he's back in his 3rd year playing good ball. So, yeah, I like the San Diego offense as a whole. I think we're going to see more and more Melvin Gordon. I mean, he just absolutely killed me this week, had way too much Melvin Gordon. I just thought that I was getting him before everybody else was going to be on him. Didn't work out that way, but I still like Melvin Gordon in the future, especially when they get leads. And yeah, I I had Stevie Johnson this week in some cash games just because I thought he had the better matchup coming out of the slot, and I had no Ladarius Green. I thought Stevie would have more room to work over the middle. Yeah, but overall, I expect a pretty narrow band of guys to contribute in this offense, which is something that we're always looking for in DFS. I mean, when teams are going to, if we can project them to score 28 points or 30 points or 25 points, and we know exactly where it's going to come from, that's obviously a huge advantage.
Yeah, as far as the perfect lineup for yesterday, Andy Dalton, Devontae Freeman, Chris Johnson, AJ Green, Steve Smith, Keenan Allen, Greg Olsen, Larry Fitzgerald, and Cardinals defense.
Mm-hmm.
Cardinals.
There's a lot of chalk in there, but obviously a couple off the board plays, but probably more chalk than you would think.
I feel like there's like a lot of old players in this, except for Devontae Freeman and Keenan. It's like a 2012 lineup with Dalton, Green, Chris Johnson, Steve Smith, Greg Olsen, Larry Fitzgerald. Like other than Devontae Freeman, it was definitely an older guys lineup. So for the guys that say that the older guys are still have it, then yeah, score one for them. As far as like the top values, we should give it up to our boy Andrew Wiggins. He'll be on a little bit later, but Gary Barnidge.
Yeah, he said that. I scoffed. He said it, and I scoffed.
You did. I pointed it out. Like he made us stop so he could talk about Gary Barnidge because of how putrid they were against the tight end the week before with Crockett Gilmore. And sure enough, for his salary, he went off $2.5K. So he was the same price as Richard Rodgers and had 25.5 fantasy points. Jamal Charles getting nothing going here these first two drives. It's been all Packers defense, and they are fired up. But as far as the other top values, Barnidge, Freeman, and another guy that is kind of taking the thunder from the Dolphins, Rashard Matthews. You've got another long score yesterday, had 32.3 fantasy points. What's going on with this Dolphins offense?
Yeah, a talented group, I think, that's maybe underperforming. I wasn't on Rashard Matthews because I thought the snaps and the targets were kind of spread so far apart. I mean, they're still playing Greg Jennings. They're still playing. They're growing the role of Devontae Parker as we speak. Jordan Cameron is still in the mix. And obviously Jarvis Landry gets a ton of targets. So, Rashard Matthews is a guy that they like. I think that he was a reasonable prospect. He won the job out of camp. Like, he was on the training camp bubble, and now he is their second best receiver behind Jarvis Landry. So yeah, Rashard Matthews looks like he's for real. I mean, that his big play and touchdown did come in absolute garbage time because Ty God absolutely smoked the Dolphins, as he is wont to do. But yeah, it's gonna be hard for me to roster Rashard Matthews due to all the mouths to feed there, but he's definitely playing like a boss right now.
All right. We had a little bit of a debate last night. So we'll see. We'll talk later about the Andrew Luck versus Mariota debate between Pete Jennings, CSU Ram, and Drew Dinkmeyer, where Drew said that he'd rather have Mariota for the rest of career other than Andrew Luck because of how bad Andrew Luck has been. And Pete has been such a staunch Luck backer that like he was offended. Like, you could tell last night that he got offended. We'll have that clip later. But can you let us know, like, if you had to choose one or the other, who would you choose?
Yeah, I'm so bad at this real life stuff, but I think I would still choose Andrew Luck. Even though Marcus Mariota has been awesome so far as a passer, I still think that in the long run in the NFL, where the way that the rules are set up, that a true pocket passer with a little bit of running ability like Andrew Luck has is the guy I'd rather have in the long run. But I mean, Marcus Mariota through 3 games is absolutely awesome. I mean, I was on him this week for tournaments, which worked out really well with Kendall Wright, taking advantage of that slot corner situation in Indy. So if they unleash Marcus Mariota, I think his fantasy stats going to be amazing if they let him run. But in real life, yeah, I think we'd have to stick with Andrew Luck. It's only his 4th year, and And Dink's points about him not progressing and putting a lot of volume stats and not that impressive efficiency stats is definitely valid, but it's still only his fourth year. Like, it's not over for Andrew Luck in terms of progression. And if and when Ryan Grigson gets fired and gets some actual players in there to both protect him and catch the football for him and not go sign Andre Johnson and take a T.Y. Hilton clone and Philip Dorsett in the first round and stuff like that. Once we get a different GM in there, I think that Luck will look a lot better too.
Adam, we're going to go right now to baggage claim, but we'll be back shortly to talk about some of the other games with you. Appreciate you being you're like our leadoff hitter, and you always get on base, and that's a good thing. So Adam LEVITAN, again, one of the DraftKings analysts and hosts of the Daily Fantasy Edge podcast. Appreciate you being on with us, and we'll see you in a bit. Right now, we're going to go to baggage claim. ZACK is in 61st place with a 265.32, and he has James Jones still left to play. So he is hoping for all of the James Jones. ZACK, how's it going, man?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Talk to me about that Ty Montgomery touchdown. Did you think that his number was 89 at first?
Well, I saw the 8 on the left side of his jersey, and then I was used to seeing 88 on the jerseys because of Demarius yesterday. And so the other 8 appeared, and I knew it wasn't my guy, but that's all right. Long game to go.
Yes, there is a long game to go, and it seems like that this offense is clicking on all cylinders, which is good for you. And even though that, as we see a pass interference, even though that touchdown didn't go your way, the Devontae Adams injury has to obviously it stinks for him, but for you, it has to feel a little bit better knowing that one of the main options is gone, and James Jones can continue to do his thing that he's done this season.
Yeah, definitely. It should help his targets for sure. So, yeah, I feel for the guy, but in the DFS world, it's good for me.
All right. So talk to us a little bit about yourself, because I know you've been in some of the other tournaments, and you're actually a Colorado guy. Am I right?
Yeah, that's right. Yep. From Boulder.
But you're not a CSU guy. Like, you're not a Colorado State guy.
No, not a Colorado State guy. Colorado Buffalo.
Oh, so that's like the anti-Colorado State guy. That's a pretty big rivalry in football, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they're both usually pretty bad, so it's usually one of the – well, CSU's been better lately, but CU the last few years has been really bad, painful to watch. But that's one of the games they can win, even though they were underdogs this year. They pulled it out. So,
okay, and full disclosure, I stalked you back in, I think it was baseball season, maybe it was basketball season. I don't know. I feel like you won something pretty big, and I looked you up, and your day job is very interesting. Do you want to talk about your day job at all?
Sure. So, I run a ethical hacking company, a security company. So, companies or government organizations hire us to try to break into their websites or networks, and that's the service we provide. I got into DFS. I played poker for a long time, so like many people out there, it just fit, especially after Black Friday. And yeah, that's kind of how I got into DFS, and yeah, that's my day job.
I'm an ethical hacker. Just to say that you're an ethical hacker and the government and other organizations pay you to try to hack into their systems would be a pretty cool day job. So I have to ask, because I'm a big fan of the show. I think you probably know what I'm talking about. You've probably been asked about it quite a bit because of your profession. But is it Mr. Robot?
Yeah. I watched that season. Like, I heard about it a few episodes in, and then watched all those pretty quick, and then followed along with the rest of the season. But good show. I thought it was well done. Actually, from a technology side, they kind of nail everything. I mean, he does things a little faster than it takes in real life, but a good show.
Okay, so that's what I was wanting to know. Like, I will fully admit I'm using you right now because I want to know if what they were saying was true. We saw Aaron Rodgers overthrow Randall Cobb right now. You're in 61st place. Do you have like in your head like what you want, like maybe what a nice finish would be for you?
First, would be nice. uh, no, I don't really have any expectations. Just I'm a casual player. I don't do this full time, even though sometimes it feels like it during NBA season. With all the injuries and news you have to keep up with. But for NFL, I just kind of do research on my own, listen to podcasts, listen to like we were talking about Evan Silva earlier on Twitter, and follow his column and just sort of compile information and just start building lineups. And yeah, whatever happens, I'm just happy to have a shot. I actually had a good chance last season near the end when it was Steelers versus Bengals in like week 16 or 17. It was a Sunday night game with no Monday night, and I was in second in the FanDuel big one, the big $25, and had Le'Veon Bell left, and then he got injured at the start of that second half, and ended up getting 10th or something like that. But I'm just happy to have another shot. Like, although it's not that good this time, but just happy to have another chance.
Yeah, I'm sure you saw that James Jones caught a pass and they called it back because of they basically took the penalty instead. You're 61st though. However, like 20 points, it gets you in a pretty good spot. Like, I mean, we're talking about top 5, assuming that no one behind has that. So you got to be thinking as far as like every catch, which is what James Jones does, right? Like every catch that he has, like, is more money in your pocket.
Yeah, and it's actually pretty crazy. I felt like there would be, more people above me, but when I scrolled the board, there was only one person that had PMR left for tonight above me. I didn't really look too much at what was behind, but I worked out the math, and I think they had Kelsey as their tight end. So that was, the only real person I had to worry about. It was interesting. Yesterday, you talked about how quickly you can move up in these spots just with one single catch. There was a Demaryius Thomas play where he caught like a 12-yard pass and then fumbled. And if you watch the game, I'm sure he remembered it because he like stretched out his arm and then fumbled it. And that made the difference in him not getting the bonus. And because they ended up calling it back, or they ended up giving Detroit the ball at the 29. So statistically, he got no yards and finished with 92. So those few points, that bonus points, the extra yards, make a big difference.
Yeah, and the fumble loss. So you're talking
right,
about
and the -1. Yeah,
4.2 points at least right there. So or 4.8. So yeah, every point matters. And like I said, the good news, the good news is that they're moving. The bad news is that Aaron Rodgers has like a new favorite target, and it's Ty Montgomery. Like he just kind of came out of nowhere. So as far as like the game flow tonight, like have you told anybody that I think you have some famous DFS player friends, right?
I do. Yeah, Sammy Knoll, the guy who won the first Millionaire Maker on DraftKings, and G Night Moon, big basketball guy and golf guy, and Brian Devonshire, and yeah, a bunch of guys. Same poker playing crew I grew up with, and yeah, we all got into DFS.
Yeah, Devo, Sammy Knoll, and like you said, Goodnight Moon. All of those guys are cheering you on. What were your thoughts about the overall flow? Like just how crazy yesterday's games were?
Yeah, it was wild. I just kept checking my scores and seeing each player's point total and just assuming I must be in first place. But everybody went off. I mean, it was crazy. I don't recall. I mean, I've never had a score this high, obviously. And it just seemed like a lot of the options, people were looking at, just everybody clicked. I mean, I know that that Larry Fitzgerald touchdown at the end kind of hurt me a bit too. But it seemed like it was hard to miss.
Yeah, and I was talking to Drew Dinkmeyer about this. Like, it either helped a lot of people or hurt a lot of people. And it definitely, as we have an injured an injured Chiefs player on the field, but it definitely hurt a lot of people. I mean, that swung a lot of GPPs, and they were up 30 with 5 minutes left in the fourth. Do you kind of agree with? Do you kind of agree with Drew's theory that they might be just trying to give Larry Fitzgerald all the stats that he can handle in games that they can?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if I can comment on that, but I do know it hurt me in this spot because I think it put the guy who's currently leading above the previous leader, and that was like a 6-point difference. So you add up all these little things, maybe that doesn't happen. Demarius makes that catch and doesn't fumble, and now I'm down by 26 points or something like that, which seems a lot more manageable than the 37 I'm down by now.
Yeah, they got the ball around the 2 or 3 yard line, which you think might be Lacey or Stark's time, but who knows? This could be one of those. It seems like Rodgers' favorite target is James Jones this year in the red zone, so maybe he gets it. But Zach, we appreciate you being on the show with us, taking time to talk to us. And again, I just think I remembered your name. Like when you mentioned me on Twitter, I remembered your name and your profile because I remember thinking an ethical hacker. That's a pretty cool job. So baggage claim on DraftKings at Zach P. Sanders on Twitter. Zach, really appreciate you visiting with us tonight, and best of luck with your James Jones lineup.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome. So that was Zach, aka Baggage Claim. And now we will get Adam Levitan back on. Adam was, again, one of the DraftKings analysts. Adam, did you have a chance to listen to the interview?
I did hear it, yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear that his day job is an ethical hacker?
It's a pretty sweet job. I hope he's not hacking DraftKings website.
Yeah, I wonder if DraftKings is one of the companies paying him to try to hack into their website. That's just defies logic to me. As we see a Randall Cobb touchdown.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we got a Randall Cobb touchdown. That was you were really excited about that, Adam. It's like you almost have him in lineups.
Yes. Now we're talking. I was just about to come on here and complain about no Randall Cobb so far.
Yeah, no, they hit him on a little out, maybe a little bit of pass interference on Ty Montgomery, but who cares? So, all right, Adam's getting excited. Adam, could that be the fact that you are currently doing like the 3-person team with or the 3-person league with Al Zeidenfeld and Peter Jennings, CSU Ram?
Yeah, so I had to late swap off of Cobb. Obviously, I post my lineup that I put in that every week, and I do a review of it on DK Playbook, and we also post a link on Sunday afternoon on the pod's Twitter account. But I had Cobb, but Al was ahead of me, and he also had Cobb, as I knew by both talking to him all week and also by adding up the salaries in his roster. So I actually had to go to Macklin. So I'm probably dead now. I'm sure Al is probably going to pick up the win in that 3-man this week. But no, I could not have won if I kept Cobb in my lineup. But I am happy about Cobb for all my other head-to-heads.
All the other stuff involving real money. Do you guys do like bets on there where the loser has to do something embarrassing?
No, we play a $20 3-man, and I've won the first 2 weeks. I took that $34. I bought some food for Jerry, some treats, a little bit of cured sausage and stuff like that, and I give it to her. And $34 worth of treats for Jerry goes a long way.
Cured sausage for the dog?
Only the best.
I mean, I would take some of that. For no surprise there. I actually. Do you know what type of dog food my dog has? Because like she's older and like allergic to stuff. So they put her on a specific dog food. Guess what it is?
Soy.
No, it's an animal.
Gluten-free. Horse.
Rabbit. It
Ah.
was rabbit. And the other was kangaroo. And I couldn't do kangaroo. Like for some reason, I was like, I can't do it. Like I can't feed her a kangaroo. But
I mean, why? Because she's old or he's old. He has to eat weird animals.
I don't. Yeah, like they say exactly. The weirder the animals, the less allergies they have. But as far as like the kangaroo, I kept on seeing that mom kangaroo from the TV commercials. I could not do it. If you are watching right now and you missed the beginning of the show, make sure you use hashtag DKTV and get to your questions. We did have a competition as far as first player that scored, and we'll try to get who that was, but you won something big. Whoever said that Ty Montgomery would catch a pass in the end zone. There can't be too many Ty Montgomery guesses as far as who was going to catch the first touchdown, if any. Rob, was there any Ty Montgomery guesses? Oh, there were 3. So we'll filter those out as far as people that thought that Ty Montgomery was going to score. So we will right now bring on Tuck Drew. So we'll let Adam go then. Okay, Adam, we'll let you go. We'll bring on Tuck Drew. And we might bring you back when Green Bay has the ball, just for your good luck's sake.
Yep. Go Cobb.
All right, so that was Adam Levitan again, one of our DraftKings analysts, joining us here in the first quarter. Now we have Andy. Andy is Tuck Drew. I think that's how you say his name. Andy, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So am I saying it right? Tuck Drew?
Yeah, it's an old nickname from
Yeah, so I can relate because I have Socrdave. Tuck Drew, and you have Travis Kelce, and I have some Travis Kelce shares in cash too. 10.4% owned in the Millie Maker. You're sitting at 69th. You need as many points as you can possibly get.
Yeah. I'm just wanting Kelce to get as many.
Yeah. So, do you think that getting behind is maybe like a good thing for Travis Kelce, because he's like they're going to be passing the ball a lot?
Definitely. I definitely want him to get behind. I want him to try and take Jamal Charles out of the game somewhat, because that's one of the guys, and just start throwing to him, which
Yeah.
They have somewhat of a shootout, with Green Bay. So,
Andy, how long have you been playing on DraftKings?
Years.
Okay. You're cutting out a little bit with us, so we'll hang up with you and try to get that internet connection a little bit better, and hopefully in that time you can have some Kelce action. So hopefully we can shore up that internet connection. But yeah, Jamal Charles gets the ball, and it seems like this is like what we thought might happen as Alex Smith is running for his dear life. Man, this Packers defense is just swarming everywhere. I think he might be still on the line.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we have the Packers getting out to an early lead, which is what really you want. Even if you have Jamal Charles, like, you want there to be a lot of offense, and you do not want this to be a game where they're just both bleeding the clock. And I think that I think that the fact that they haven't put their foot on the gas is a reason why I don't think Green Bay is going to slow down at all in this game. I think they're going to just continue to hammer and put up as many points as they can. And like Adam Levitan said yesterday, really put their foot on the gas. So if you have Cobb, even if you have Starks, like Starks is looking good out there. He's looking spry. He's a good running back. So if you have those guys, you're feeling good. If you have James Jones, you're wanting some more action. But Aaron Rodgers currently tearing it up. You've got all right. So we've got the Twitter contest winners at Jacob Numba 80. Jacob Numba 80. That's no ER, Numba. At BP McCarty and at JC Jimmy. So all those people are going to win something, and then we'll get whoever came closest with their guess as far as yards go. We'll give them something more, like a $100 ticket or something. I don't know. We'll let. I just give away the prizes. The DraftKings people will tell you what you do get. We're going to have another contest though coming up at halftime. Since it was such a crazy week, we're going to have crazy week, crazy selfie. So that means you take a crazy selfie of yourself, and you get points for being creative as far as fantasy football, DraftKings, anything that you can do to get crazy with a selfie, and use hashtag DKTV, and we'll be giving out Millionaire tickets left and right at halftime. At halftime, I'll have Drew Dinkmeyer on as well. So crazy week, crazy selfie contest, and then we'll have another little contest at halftime. I can't spoil it just yet, but we'll make sure to do that. All right, let's get to some of the bust of the week. The NFL's biggest bust, week 3, Dante Moncrief. Moncrief was 4.8 and really needed that fourth quarter touchdown to have any sort of value. Finished with 13.2, but had like 3 points with like 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So his value was very much dependent on that last score. Andrew Luck looked terrible. I was actually at that game at the DraftKings suite. I've said it a million times, but it was cool. Allen Robinson for the Jags didn't even get garbage time. 10.8 points. Danny Woodhead 7.3. Travis Benjamin 13.5. He actually caught a touchdown pass. I'm not sure he would be a bust, but if you're going by like his past game, he might be a bust. I think at 4.2 for him to get 13.5 points, you're feeling pretty good about it. Doug Baldwin for that Seattle offense. The targets went to Jimmy Graham for Narrative Street. He was 4K and got 6.5 points. And then Emmanuel Sanders, 14.7 on 7,600. Tyler Eifert, Jared Cook. A lot of people were on Jared Cook. A lot of people were on Tyler, or not a lot of people. Over 10% were on Tyler Eifert. Eifert got 0 points, and Cook got 1.7. I did not understand the Cook love, but people did it. What do I know? I played Richard Rodgers in tonight's game, and he's not seeing a dang thing. So there you go. All right, so we'll get to some other guests. Right now, we're at the end of the first quarter. I'll tell you what, we'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back. We'll have some more guests. We'll have, again, some more contests and talk about this week. So we'll take a break, and we'll be right back after this.
A fresh lineup every weekend. Huge tournaments. Real cash prizes. Come on, people, it's not 2007 anymore. Fantasy football has evolved. Your roster should be earning you more than just bragging rights. This is daily fantasy football on DraftKings, where it's like a whole new season every weekend. Build the ultimate fantasy lineup by balancing the big salary stars with diamond-in-the-rough prospects. Decipher the studs from the duds with DraftKings player cards. All the stats you need to make the right call are at your fingertips. Consider pairing teammates on your lineup. A passing touchdown can earn you points for both the QB and receiver. When you're set, click submit and watch your handcrafted lineup rack up points. Touchdown! Track your lineup on the couch or on the go. Talk trash, win cash, and bask in your own drafting genius, all in a day's work. Daily fantasy sports glory. Make it your reality.
Oh man, I cannot wait to go over there and get... What? We're still going here? Are you serious? Oh man. What else do you want? We've gone about 4,000 miles. We've talked to team after team. By the way, how cool is this DraftKings Lounge? Check this out here in the Cowboys Stadium. All right, if you want to know, guys, we have interviewed player after player, coach after coach. I had the best time on this tour, I really did. But check out some of the other highlights of some of the biggest names in the NFL. Stop by the Glaze Across America DraftKings Tour Bus.
You've got to be kidding me. Oh my gosh.
Holy Toledo, man.
Who gave you permission
What?
to put my picture on the side of this bus? Dude, Are you serious? With a fireplace right now?
Are you serious?
Well, I'm so serious.
I don't think you're licensed to handle this vehicle. You like the bus?
Welcome
What do you
to
think?
my bus. Oh,
Welcome to your bus, that's it. TVs, right?
Good setup.
All right, sit your butt down with me, man. Why are you still doing this?
Because I love it. I love it. I love it. The competitive part of it. You know, I love that part of it. In the back of your mind, there's always the idea of, you know, being a champion once again.
Yeah, I think it's a completely fresh start. You know, obviously, a change of scenery, completely different system. It's just exciting to be in an offense that gives the quarterback so many options.
You don't turn on until you start getting your butt kicked a little bit.
But you kind of want to take that first hit because it's been since January, February since I've been hit last.
Johnny's done a great job. I think he's in a great place personally, which has allowed him to be in a much better place professionally.
Where have you taken the biggest jump when you came into now?
You learn a lot of football. You really do. Every year, especially that rookie year, second year, third, you learn a lot.
Last year's team wasn't good enough relative to the standard we've set and our expectations. And all of us, starting with me as the head coach, need to be better.
I think the year 3 is a big deal. You know, that we've had the stability, coaches in place, a lot of the key players in place here now for 3 years.
You want your receivers, they're all competitive, and they want the ball because they feel like if they get the ball, they can make plays, and they're going to help out the team.
So Jimmy was my guy. I mean, Jimmy was like a younger brother to me. But it's not like we have to go out and find the next Jimmy Graham. No, we have to evolve.
I felt for Ray. I think we all felt for Ray. And we all do a pretty good job of kind of compartmentalizing everything and going out there and doing our job.
You know, he's confident in what he believes in. And he tells us all the time, trust me, I know what I'm doing, trust the process.
He just challenging us to be the absolute best.
One thing about being wise is seeing what other people do and using it yourself. I've seen terrible leaders win, and I've seen great leaders lose. Right. But what are we saying? The determining factor of all is what? If you win.
We went 4-12 last year, so I mean, we can be worse, but how much worse can we get? We can only go up. So that's how I look at it.
Worst part of training camp?
The time here.
You mean the entire thing?
Yes.
That's it. How great is that? Finishing off in style here in the Cowboys Stadium. Folks, that's it. Jay Glazer, I am taking off. DraftKings, thank you so much for everything. Make sure you play DraftKings all year long. Fox, thank you so much as well. You guys know I absolutely hate flying. I terrorized America in our DraftKings bus. Thanks a lot, folks. Hey, can we change that, by the way, to just say Glaze across America? Where's Jerry and Stephen Jones?
Winston, Mariota, Yeldon, Cooper. This year's crop of rookie talent is impressive, but will any have a year like these all-time great rookies? Number 5, Ben Roethlisberger. Hard to believe Big Ben is starting his 12th season in the NFL. Seems like just yesterday that number 7 was taking the league by storm, winning his first 14 starts, throwing for over 2,600 yards and 17 touchdowns, taking the Steelers all the way to the AFC Championship. In reality, that was way back in 2004. Time flies. Number 4, Odell Beckham Jr. In 2004, ODB was only 12, which coincidentally is the number of games he played in during his rookie season. But ODB didn't need the full 17 weeks to rack up some monster stats. 1,300 yards, 91 catches, including 12 TDs. Oh yeah, and he racked up some monster highlights too. Number 3, Dan Marino. Here's another rookie who didn't let an abbreviated season stop him from making a splash. In just 9 regular season starts, Dan the Man recorded a 96.0 passer rating, threw for over 2,000 yards, a huge 20 TDs, and led the Finns into the postseason. Hey, he even made unlucky number 13 cool. Number 2, Cam Newton. There was the hype, and then there was the season. Number 1 broke the rookie passing record with over 4,000 yards and 21 TDs, numbers that alone would put him on this list. But oh yeah, then there were the 706 rushing yards and 14 TDs on the ground, yet another rookie record. Superman indeed. Number 1, Randy Moss. There are rookie phenoms, and then there are unstoppable forces of nature. The future Hall of Famer's breakout year was nothing short of show-stopping. 69 catches, 1,300 yards, and 17 TDs, including his Thanksgiving Day bonanza in Dallas, where he racked up 163 yards and 3 TDs on just 3 catches. Did we miss anyone? Share your top 5 list in the comments below. And for more, subscribe to DKTV.
A fresh lineup every weekend.
And we are back. We are back now with Aaron Rodgers going for 4th and 5, not getting it. But it's clear, like we said, that they're going for it right now. Though we want to go back to Andy. Andy's Tuck Drew and is in 69th place with Travis Kelce. Andy, we're talking a little bit before we got cut off. Like, you have to at least feel good that the Chiefs are in obvious passing situations now.
I do feel good about that. I don't feel good about watching how awful they look right now. I mean, they look like they're not going to move the ball at all, which I know can change on a dime, but they really don't look good right now. So it's a little alarming, but I mean, I'm still hoping, like you said, for them to be down big, and if nothing else, maybe get some garbage fourth quarter time, get a bunch of yards and stuff in the fourth quarter when it doesn't matter as well.
Yeah, looking at your lineup, you've got really you have everything that you need except for obviously you need a big Kelce game, and then Danny Woodhead really let you down with that 7.3. But how big? Yeah. How big was that Larry Fitzgerald touchdown when they were up 30 and they decided to give it to him?
Oh, it was unbelievable. I couldn't believe that. I was watching that game. I was just like, wow. I mean, I didn't think he was going to get any more that game, and to get that last touchdown was huge. And like you said, I mean, the Woodhead was just one of those that, you took a shot. I thought he would get some definitely some receiving yards and maybe get in the end zone. It was just a bad call. But, that's fantasy football for you.
Yeah, it is. As far as, like, it says your hometown is St. Louis, Missouri. Does that mean you're a big Rams fan?
I'm a Rams fan, but I'm not a big Rams fan. And
you're a fantasy
it's hard.
football
I mean,
fan.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard for me to be. I'm not a diehard Rams fan. I'm a diehard hockey fan. I'm a diehard Blues fan. So
okay.
But with fantasy, it's hard to be a diehard Rams fan. It was great in '99 and 2001. We had the greatest show on turf, but it's just never been my team. You know what I mean? Like, they've only been here since '95, and they're going to be gone now next year, anyways. I think so.
How excited are you for them to move to LA?
You know what? I'm excited. I had season tickets. I got rid of them. It was terrible watching that all the time. I mean, it's a bad product they put on the field for a long time now. So I'm fine with it. Good riddance.
Talk to me a little bit about this lineup. You had Cam Newton in there and Travis Kelce as your tight end. Was there any sort of did you possibly want to go with the Cam Newton, Greg Olsen stuff?
Greg Olsen, yes. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm sitting there doing this lineup, and there were 2 decisions. I was like, the 2 quarterbacks I liked for the value were Cam Newton and Andy Dalton. I had Dalton in a few other lineups, and I decided to go with Cam. I thought he was a little bit safer play.
Oh,
and there's Kelce.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I think you're on a 1 second or 2 second delay because you made the same sound. It's like that. It's a little bit of
I got DirecTV, so it's usually delayed.
Yeah, it's a little bit not safe for work. I call it a fantasy football sex sound, and that's kind of what it was. 38-yard catch right there. So 4.8.
Anyways, what I was saying was I had taken Olsen the last couple of weeks because they didn't have any. With Kelvin Benjamin out, I figured he's going to be the man, and he had let me down for the last couple of weeks. I just kind of was a little gun shy on him, and so I thought I wanted somebody on Monday night to have that last player, that last chance or whatever, to really make some points up and it was a toss-up, and I decided to go with Kelsey. And obviously I would have much rather have had the points from Olsen right now. But, it's one of those things.
The good news is that catch got you $3,000 more. So you moved up the standings into, I think, 37th place. So
I like it.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
And then every catch from now on, including I'm never going to ruin it for you, but
oh, come on, dude, catch my ball.
There it is. There it is. That was your touchdown right there. So I almost ruined it for you, and then I decided not to. But
it's all right.
I too made the mistake of going Kelsey over Olsen in cash game lineups. So not nearly the magnitude of what you're sweating right now. But the good news is they're starting to target him, and he's like a mini Gronk. I mean, there's definitely a way that he could score over 20 points.
Yeah, and here's the thing, and one of the reasons I did go with him, and that's not what I needed. One of the reasons I was talking to a friend of mine, I'm like, if I didn't have Gronk and I had a tight end left, I think Kelsey's top three. I mean, him, Olsen, and Gronk, I think, are the three best tight ends in the league. So I'm at least somewhat happy that I've got a tight end, and I don't have a fringe guy like a Jared Cook or Lance Kendricks or somebody like that who's a Rams, I mean? So I definitely like the fact that I have him, but, obviously would have much rather had the Olsen points to go with it.
All right, so does your friends and family know that you're kind of sweating this lineup? And, I mean, it'll take a lot for you to get to first, but at least there is a lot of money on the line with this, and they're in the game now. But do your friends and family know that you're competing for a lot of money tonight?
Yeah, actually they do.
So what are they saying?
While we were just talking, as soon as that Kelsey catch I had, my buddy was calling me on the other line, so I didn't answer. But they're excited. They're, everybody's rooting.
Are you?
It's kind of exciting.
Are you in a season-long league as well?
I'm only in one. I used to do about 10 to 15 a year, and I really love the daily ones now. I mean, I don't have to sweat somebody getting injured and my whole season getting tanked because of a freak thing. So once I started doing the daily leagues, I cut down all my other ones. I got one league that I do with my best friend. We've been doing it for years, and that's the only one I'm left in.
Are those guys? Because I'm the same way. As far as I used to do over 10 leagues, now down to one. We have like our own draft weekends, a bunch of buddies from college and high school. But do they play daily now?
No, not really. Not a lot of them. Some of them do. I mean, some of them are starting to get into it because they see me doing it all the time. And I mean, if I get a pretty good payday tonight, I'm sure I'll convince a few others to get into it as well. But a lot of them still do the regular leagues. They like the regular leagues. Like I said, a few of us definitely do the daily ones, but for the most part, a lot of them don't.
All right. Well, Andy, with every catch, you're going to move up the leaderboard, and hopefully you'll have a big payday. You can convince those season-long guys to play daily, and congratulations just on a great lineup, and
Thank you.
Wish you the best tonight.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right. So that was Andy HURWITZ from St. Louis, Missouri. And Andy had Travis Kelce, and man, they went to him, and he just bobbled it. And he was in the red zone, and he could have scored on that. All right. So we're going to go to Chris Banks. Chris Banks with an X. Chris, are you there?
Hey, what's up, Soccer Dave?
Chris,
looking dapper in the checkered shirt, my man. Good to be speaking with you.
Chris, I understand that you have watched the Sweat Show in the past.
Oh, absolutely, man. I'm a fantasy degenerate. I love sweats, and when I don't have a sweat, I love to sweat other people's stuff. So yeah, I love the show, and especially last week, the dude with one tooth, and who is that? The King. I mean,
Aaron DeKing. Yeah,
Aaron DeKing. Just fabulous content, great interviews, and great characters. I wish them all the best, and congrats to them for winning a lot of money last week. That was good stuff.
As far as like winning a lot of money, You're in third place of this Fantasy Football World Championship qualifier, and you have Jamal Charles. So you're now 4 points behind that DJ Short Bus, which
DJ Short Bus, which let's take a second and just point out like one of the all-time great screen names. Okay.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, DJ Short Bus only has a 4-point lead, and I think I'm going to get there with Jamal. But I'll tell you what, my main opponent is a guy. I think he's a decent DFS player by the name of Max something.
Yeah, Max Tillery has won a few things.
Yeah, he's a decent DFS player. So I'm trying to fight him off right now with Randall Cobb, but we just got a big Jamal Charles TD, so that's why you guys are catching me a little out of breath.
Are you wearing a Jamal Charles jersey right now?
Oh, absolutely. I'll tell you what, my boys came over tonight. They knew I had the sweat for the live final, which, I mean, we all play DraftKings, and so we're all super stoked about it. And they got me a legit Jamal Charles jersey to rock tonight, so hopefully it'll help me get a seat. I'm like just loving the sweat.
Yeah, so you've got your boys there. I see a pool table behind you. Does that mean that you have your own man cave?
We've got a little bit of a man cave. Yeah, we definitely love to play games. We've got the pool table, but I don't know if you can see it. I can move the camera around a bit here, but actually the feature attraction is the Golden Tee machine right over there.
Oh, you've got your own Golden Tee.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. We I love to play games. I mean, whether it be pool, Golden Tee, poker, fantasy, I just love games and competition, and so do all my buddies. So we got some fun games to play down here that we can, kind of get down on while we sweat the game. So it's always a good time.
You're the friend that I want to have.
Papa, my boy Murr, Nick Dudley, Josh Dale. They all play on DraftKings, and they're all fans of the site. So shout out to them for helping me talk through players and put together a lineup this week.
Okay, so I was about to ask. You said all your buddies there play DraftKings. So do you guys help each other with lineups, or do you play each other as far as every week?
We definitely talk through lineups. All of these guys, and then David Hubbard and Derek Pearson are two just very accomplished season-long players that are getting into DFS that are just super smart guys. So I like to talk through players and strategy with them, as well as my good buddies that are here. And, for me, fantasy is like one of the big fun parts about it. It's kind of like talking with your buddies, talking through games, talking through scenarios, and just trying to do your best to build a lineup. So it just makes it more fun than kind of doing it, isolated all on your own, to get your buddies on the phone and talk some sports.
All right, I feel like you're going to have a little bit of a sweat with Randall Cobb. Obviously, he just had another catch. But it's nice. It's nice for you knowing that they're utilizing Jamal Charles so much. So this might be something where Randall Cobb gets it and he goes ahead, and then Jamal Charles gets it and he goes ahead. But the good thing for Jamal Charles is that they're utilizing him in passing situations. When you took a look at your lineup, because I'm looking at your lineup right now, and you had Charles, Sproles, and Murray. So Charles, of those big three, was the guy that you chose over Bell and over AP. Is that because you thought he had the better game, because you could sweat, or because you're a Chiefs fan?
Hey, buddy, we're coming at you from Kansas City, Missouri right here. So that is absolutely a homer pick. Love my Chiefs, love Jamal Charles. And you know what? I consider myself a pretty serious fantasy guy. I take the game seriously and I try to analyze stuff. But you know what? I started playing this game way back when because it was fun. And I still love doing things that are fun. And it's fun for me to take my favorite player on my hometown team. So I had to go with Jamal this time, and hopefully he can deliver one for me tonight.
All right. So talk to me a little bit about this qualifier. As far as have you been to any live events previously?
I have not. I'll tell you, I really started my background is more in season long, and I started to get into DFS a little bit a couple years ago, but I had a newborn last year. And
congratulations.
Thank you very much. And she's who I'm playing for. She's awesome. So I didn't play much, but this year I really said, I love DFS. It's so much fun. And I really kind of, tried to commit myself. Started following a lot of the big name players on Twitter and started reading a lot more DFS analysis from accomplished players and stuff, and just helped me improve my game along with talking with my buddies. And, just fortunate to finally run a little good. I'll tell you, I have locked up 2 seats on 2 other sites so far in the first 2 weeks. So I am pretty stoked to be running good for part of the season here.
Very nice. And this qualifier, if you hit it, you have basically the top 10, 200 people, and the top 10 get to go to Los Angeles, where ESPN will be there. How crazy is it? You say you've been playing fantasy football for a while. How crazy is it that you could potentially be like on ESPN if you get in the top 10 of a live final?
I mean, Dave, it's the greatest thing to ever happen to fantasy, and that's no exaggeration. I mean, for anybody that follows poker, what DraftKings is doing, it is going to be our moneymaker final table moment. For the community, those folks that are lucky enough to and skilled enough to make it to that point, it's just going to be huge. It's really going to take fantasy to the next level, and I just think it's awesome that DraftKings is doing it, and I think it's awesome that ESPN is on board to really start to celebritize the players that are advancing very deep in these and playing for lots of money, because, man, we saw that poker explosion take hold over television and how much it grew the game. And I'm just like super, super excited to see what this year's ESPN program for that live final can do for the DFS game. So, yeah, I mean, it's just amazing. And if I had the opportunity to take part in that tournament out in Vegas, I mean, I'd be like, that'd be Christmas morning for me waking up that day, setting that lineup.
You might not be a James Jones.
Oh my gosh. So apparently Cobb just got a touchdown called back. That is extremely lucky.
It's either James Jones or Montgomery that had a holding call. Whoever
that was, thank you for committing that penalty. That was a great job.
They called it on Montgomery actually, and it I don't know. It looked like kind of a ticky-tack call, but it worked out for you.
Actually, Soccer Dave, I'm going to disagree and say that was an amazing call, and there was nothing about that call that could have possibly been wrong. So,
all right.
That's my completely unbiased, objective opinion.
Fair.
Nothing at stake.
Fair enough. All right. So your lineup, Kendall Wright was the guy that really is not in a bunch of these winning lineups right now, but you definitely had him. And he is turning out to be like a PPR monster. Obviously, you get a point per reception on DraftKings. 6.6% owned, 23.8 points. But he had a good day yesterday. I feel like the rest of your lineup, this is just like a really solid lineup.
It's so chalky, is it not? Like there's nothing swervy or contrarian about it. Although, interestingly enough, I ended up having Cam Newton at 6% owned, which did surprise me a little because I felt like Cam would be a little chalkier, a little more preferred there. But yeah, it really was one of my chalkier GPP lineups. But as you pointed out, Kendall Wright, and as it turned out, AJ Green was single-digit percentage owned as well. So just fortunate, to get those guys to come through for me in those lineups.
You just got another sack, so they will be kicking a field goal. And as we know on DraftKings,
that works.
There's no kickers on.
Thank you, DraftKings. I'll tell you what, thank you for paving the way in the DFS industry. You guys got rid of the kickers, and then some other sites started to. Some sites still haven't quite gotten the memo on that, but here's the deal. Nobody from the most casual of casual to the most hardcore fan wants to have all their tournament hopes ever riding on a kicker. So you guys are awesome, and I'm glad that that's not part of the sweat tonight.
True that. Chris, best of luck to you tonight in this qualifier, and hopefully we'll see you out there in Vegas. But yeah, I mean, if it is up to me, we have you on every week because you're a great guest. You're a great DraftKings advertiser. So you're the guys.
I'm a good cheerleader. Is that what you're trying to say?
I don't want to say the word cheerleader, but you said it. So not me. So yeah, you're a good DraftKings cheerleader. So Chris, we really appreciate you watching the shows and
absolutely, man. And keep doing what you're doing, buddy. And one of the things that's cool also about DraftKings, since I've been led into by being called a good cheerleader, I'll say this. I like that DraftKings promotes winning and accomplished players. You guys that hold positions over there at DraftKings, you like the DraftKings pros, you guys hold those positions because you're accomplished players and you won. And I really think that's awesome that DraftKings goes the extra mile to really highlight their players and help them build their brands, because that's something that some of the other quote-unquote leaders in the industry don't do a very good job of. So it's awesome that the guy I'm talking to that's interviewing me right now has won a ton of stuff. That's so cool that they put you guys in these positions. And I just want to keep saying, keep doing what you're doing, DraftKings. Keep highlighting the players, and the game will grow.
Awesome. Chris, really appreciate you being on the show. Chris Banks competing for that qualifier to the Vegas Championship. And again, top 10 of that go to LA for a $5 million.
Tell Max to take it easy on me. Doesn't Max already have a seat and like all the money? He doesn't need Cobb to do anything. Come on, Max.
Yeah, he could give away a seat.
Take it easy on me. Give the underdog guy one seat, one time. Come on.
All right, so you're using your one time this time. I think that's a
well,
good.
I reserve the right to use it again if I qualify. Because, I definitely want to use it out in Vegas for that tournament.
Fair enough. Awesome. Chris Banks from Kansas City, hoping that Chris Charles propels him to that number one spot, 4 points behind. We'll have another guest in a few. Let's take a look, though, right now at the Millionaire Maker. You've got still the top 10 unaffected with Hoothead. Hoothead is the guy in first place. And scrolling down, you see Baggage Claim now in 29th. And, basically James Jones is doing what we thought he would be, just catching little short passes. But it looks like that Randall Cobb is the red zone threat tonight and not James Jones. So they're looking to get Randall Cobb the ball. And to be honest, he probably should have scored in that. But if you're fading him, that's okay. Tuck True now in 38th with Kelsey going to get the ball. Again, that drop pass that Kelsey had to give Charles, what a swing and momentum that was. 55, Mizikal has Randall Cobb and is at 266. So would need a huge game from him. But I feel like a lot of these people, they just want to, they're basically just hoping their players score as much as they can so they can get as much as they can. We were talking with Tuck Drew, and that one pass got him $3,000. I mean, that has to feel good when you're seeing just a bunch of zeros ahead of you and knowing that every single point with the points being condensed so much will get you out. It gets you more money. So if you have any questions, again, use hashtag DKTV and we will get to them. Let's get to a few right now if I can find this page. Okay, from Brett Apley. What's your favorite activity to do besides watching the game when going through a big sweat? Well, it depends if my wife is in the mood or not. But if she is not, if she is not in the mood, the favorite activity to do while you sweat, I don't feel like you need to have a favorite activity because it's pointless. Man, Alex Smith showing some wills. It's pointless to try to do something you like while you're sweating because you're not going to enjoy it. If anything, go for a jog, go work out, go take a shower, and really just if you want to avoid the sweat, that's how you do it. So for me, I guess it's not something I like doing, but a shower, just to kind of decompress is how I do it with the big sweat. All right, at Nate Thorne 04, Vic at a minimum this week. Does he put up 20 plus against the Ravens on Thursday Night Football? I think he does. And if you played that Monday, Thursday slate and you picked him, I think that you're probably going to feel good about things as what are the Chiefs doing? But I think with just his weapons, I think 20 points is a good range for him. I think his floor is probably about 15 points, but his ceiling is probably around 25, 30 points. It just depends on how many runs he can get. And so I think he puts up over 20 at minimum salary. So I'll be playing some Thursday night games with him. We had Adam Levitan talk about Tyrod Taylor and at 5,800. And I think I'd rather have Vic at 5,000 than Taylor at 800 because you could immediately upgrade some positions there. All right, next question. At Dylan _Sifo, based off the games played so far, who are your top candidates for Rookie of the Year? I really like what Amari Cooper is doing. He just looks really good. And Marcus Mariota. I think both those guys have been great this year. Mariota is 1 and 2, but as far as Rookie of the Year goes, he's looking really good. And Cooper has just been just lights out. And he's gone up against a few good cornerbacks as well and still has produced. So if he keeps getting the yardage, if Oakland's offense still keeps clicking like it does, I think he's a good guy to have. All right. At Dre Smith Jr., another week we're going to low range at quarterback was the optimal play. Do you see this trend continuing most of the season? I don't know. Like, it just depends on how the pricing is. My thing is, as far as like specific strategies go, it's tough to really nail down one because each week it could change. So like we saw last week, you had to nail the running back situation was terrible. This week, the running back situation, everybody scored. Last week, nobody scored. This week, everybody scored. So depending on your situation as far as I want to fade running backs, it varies from week to week. So I definitely think it is a strategy. But let's also talk about Nick Foles. Nick Foles was a min-sal guy not a min-sal, but a low-salary guy that a lot of people were on and didn't do anything. Let's talk about the McCown brothers. They didn't do anything. And they were low-salary guys. And full disclosure, I rostered McCown. And he got like 15 points, and I was okay with that because you're rostering the other talent. However, Cam Newton in cash games, I'm not sure you call Cam a low-salary guy, but Cam, Aaron Rodgers looks like he's doing good. I don't know if you can say the trend will continue, but I definitely think that people will naturally go light at quarterback to try to get those skilled players, especially on DraftKings when you can save so much salary. All right, last question. What is everyone's deodorant of choice to combat their Monday night sweat? Organic or name brand? My deodorant of choice is Axe. And I know that kind of paints me in the just graduated from high school, but Axe has always been my go-to of choice. I figure when I hit 40, I can hit the Old Spice. But the ladies and my wife love Axe. I'm getting Ethan in the corner just giving me the most judgmental look for an Axe deodorant. Are you kidding me, Ethan? That's what you're going to give me crap for? All right. So we'll be coming up again on Halftime with Drew Dinkmeyer. Make sure you're using hashtag DKTV for the Crazy Week Crazy Selfie. Take any sort of crazy selfie of yourself, and we'll get those on TV or on DKTV, and we'll get you tickets. We also have a little contest coming up at halftime. It's the Family Feud edition of Daily Fantasy. So Drew doesn't even know, I think, that he's going to be doing this, but he is, and that's what is going to make it so fun. All right, so we have halftime coming up. We got another guest coming up as well. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll be right back after this, and we'll see who scores, and we'll be back with another guest who is currently climbing his way up the chart. So we'll be right back after this, and stick around.
Okay, here's what you need to know to start winning real cash prizes playing 1 week fantasy football at DraftKings. Whether you browse on your computer or on the free mobile apps, the game's the same. First, select your contest. Browse the featured lobby or view all NFL contests. Choose from many marquee tournaments, head-to-heads, and beginner-friendly contests. Pick your contest and you're ready to draft. For all NFL contests, you'll draft 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex player, which can either be a running back, wide receiver, or tight end, and a defense. Your goal is to build the best 9-man roster under the $50,000 salary cap. Each eligible NFL player from that week's games is assigned a salary. They'll earn you points for receptions, touchdowns, total yardage, and more. Once your lineup is complete, click submit, and that's it. Track your team online or on our free mobile app to watch your squad rack up points in real time. And when the last game is over, bask in your own drafting genius as your winnings are automatically credited to your account. More sports, more winnings, more millionaires. It's a whole new season every week at DraftKings.
Hey, Hey guys, Peter Jennings here, and I'm going to be giving you my top 5 tight ends for the NFL season in 2015 at DraftKings. Starting out the list at number 5, I have Captain Crunch himself, Martellus Bennett. He might be more famous for rapping than catching touchdowns at this point, but I think he's in for a good year. Always finds the red zone, and I think with the departure of Brandon Marshall, he should get more red zone targets. So I really like him this year and think he's going to be a good play. At number 4, I have Travis Kelce, who is the most talented guy maybe on this list outside of my top 2 guys, and certainly could have a monster year. He didn't get the ball as much as I would hope last year, and I think that will change. I think the Chiefs will really do everything they can to get the ball in his hands, and I expect a monster year. At number 3, I have Greg Olsen, who is one of the best pros in the entire NFL. Really great person, always a smart guy, and he's really done well with Cam Newton. I think he's in a great position to succeed, and I think he will be the number 1 guy in the red zone outside of Kelvin Benjamin for Cam Newton. At number 2, I have Jimmy Graham. Very interested to see how he performs this year in Seattle. I do think that he'll be the number 1 red zone option, which should serve well for him. I do think he will regress a little bit from last year after being with the Saints, but I still think he's an elite option at the tight end position. My number 1 tight end this year is Rob Gronkowski. He really needs no introduction. He just came out and said he hasn't spent a single penny of his NFL checks, and he's going to continue to get those. He's going to score a ton of touchdowns this year. He is definitively the number 1 option in that offense, and I expect another monster season if he can stay healthy. Would love to see your top 5 list in the comments below, and please subscribe to DKTV.
Hey everybody, this is Drew Dinkmeyer, aka Dinkpiece. I'm one of the DraftKings pros, and I'm here today to bring you my top 5 quarterbacks for the 2015 NFL season. These are my top 5 fantasy quarterbacks, so let's start with number 5. This might be a little bit of a hot take, but Tony Romo is going to crack my top 5. Ranked 22nd in the NFL last year in dropbacks. I expect the volume to be back with DeMarco Murray out of the picture. Less reliable running game means more passing attempts for Romo. Also means more opportunities around the red zone for Dez Bryant, one of the best touchdown converters in the league. I think Romo's passing stats take a big tick forward. Top 5 fantasy quarterback season coming from Tony Romo. Number 4, go to New Orleans, Drew Brees. People are going to be concerned about the loss of Jimmy Graham this year. I'm not concerned. Athletic backup tight end Josh Hill will fill that void, and he finally gets that safety net running back in the passing game that he missed last year without Darren Sproles. CJ Spiller is going to make a big impact in the passing game. I think Drew Brees is still going to be a top 5 fantasy quarterback heading into this 2015 season. Number 3 on my list is Russell Wilson from Seattle. He finished number 3 last year in fantasy points at the quarterback position. He's not going to replicate the 850 rushing yards or the 6 rushing touchdowns, but the presence of Jimmy Graham in his offense will allow for more pass play calling around the goal line. That's going to lead to more passing touchdowns for Russell Wilson, and I think it'll mitigate some of that loss in rushing total. He probably won't put up the same overall totals, but I still think he'll be the number 3 overall fantasy quarterback. Number 2 on my list is Aaron Rodgers. He's the number 1 quarterback in all of football, but in fantasy football, he's number 2. They play in so many blowouts in the second half, and he just doesn't get as much volume in his main dropbacks as my number 1 fantasy quarterback. Rodgers is still the best in the game. Jordy Nelson's back. Randall Cobb's back. They brought the whole gang back, added some new pieces. They're going to be great offensively, and Aaron Rodgers is going to lead the way. He's my number 2 fantasy quarterback heading into this 2015 season. Number 1 overall for me is Andrew Luck in Indianapolis. He gets that soft schedule in the AFC South, Tennessee and Jacksonville 4 times a year, easy defenses to pad stats against, has the running component that he makes way in the end zone, gets some bonuses there, and also has more weapons this year than he's ever had before. They didn't invest in the defense in the draft. They invested more offensively. I think they're going to be in a lot of shootouts again. Andrew Luck, a lot of volume, still remains the number 1 fantasy quarterback for me. So those are my top 5 fantasy quarterbacks here on DKTV. I want to get your top 5 fantasy quarterbacks heading into the 2015 season. Drop them in the comments. Drop us some notes on Twitter. Hashtag it DKTV with your top 5 quarterbacks for this upcoming season.
And we are back here at the DraftKings Sweat Show, Week 3. We're going all around the country talking to people that are in the Millie Maker, that are winning, that are currently winning other qualifiers as well. And right now we're going to cut to the Sizzler 19. Mike Ubansky. Mike, are you there?
Yes, I am. How are you?
Mike, you are currently first in the $27 qualifier, but you have some Randall Cobb chasing you down.
Yeah, I kind of figured that I was going to have that problem tonight when I saw he had a wide receiver out there. I figured it was going to be Cobb, and I'm hoping that maybe he doesn't want to play the second half for some reason.
Yeah, good for you that James Jones just caught the touchdown on that offside. So no, yeah, not any Cobb there. But let's talk though. Even if you get chased down for this qualifier, you are also winning you're also winning $5,000 in the $75,000 beginners only gridiron. So that means that you're a relatively new player here on DraftKings.
Oh, that's correct. New this year, just my third week. I jumped in, just did a little study, and got a little bit of luck yesterday with some of those 40-pointers coming out. A little disappointed in a couple of my players yesterday. One being Gronk. I thought Gronk having 7 points early in the first quarter, he was on his way to 50, which probably would have just locked this all up before tonight's game, but that didn't happen. And then also I took a little hit reaching out with Crabtree, thinking that they might have targeted him a little bit more coming from the West Coast over, but that didn't happen either. So,
Yeah, Crabtree was the one weak spot, and it's crazy that Gronkowski at 17.6 was the other weak spot that you had. He had a we'll probably talk about this later on the show, but he had a one-on-one situation there and dropped it.
I saw it.
Crabtree just did not have the game that he had before that. However, you did get that last-second touchdown from Larry Fitzgerald, which got you double the points because you had Palmer, you had Devontae Freeman, Adrian Peterson that went off, and Rashard Matthews had that long garbage time touchdown, and he did well for you. But I see that you're wearing the AP jersey.
Absolutely.
Is that one of the reasons why he was in your lineup?
I'll put him there when I think he's ready to run wild, and I just think he's healthy, he's strong, and he's just getting stronger every week. So I'll pick and choose, but I am a big Viking fan for about 45 years or so.
Oh, wow. So how is it to be able to have Adrian Peterson in a lineup that's going to be winning you money then?
It's a pretty good feeling.
So talk to us. How did you get started with DraftKings?
I took notice last year, and I was kind of a little bit too busy doing other things, so I jumped in this year. I did week one in the NFL. I also did a golf fantasy and did okay on that in week I think like week 2 or so. So I've been following and just kind of studying. I'm a long-time football fan, and I said it's time for me to venture out here a little bit.
All right, so I'm guessing you're glad that you're venturing out and you're going to continue playing on the site.
Absolutely, and I pointed a bunch of friends this direction, so yeah, it's just going to grow.
Awesome. Well, Mike, we appreciate having you on. Best of luck. It's going to be a pretty tough fade, to be honest, to have less than 3 points, but crazier things have happened. So we could see you out in Vegas for that qualifier, and keep trying because obviously you've done well this week. So Mike, have fun. I really appreciate you joining us, and enjoy the rest of the night.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Take care.
Thanks, Mike. So that was Mike Ubanski, and Mike again in the beginners only contest. The beginners only, you heard him last year. Like, he didn't really get into it. Then this year, so he hadn't been playing a lot, and just the beginners only contests are big for new players because you don't have the experienced players. If you have friends that you are asking them to get into daily fantasy, you want to make sure that they have that they get those beginner contests, because it's just a safe way to get started. All right, so I did have a tweet that said JFJ. Obviously, the offsides call and baggage claim gets up to 11th place. So he's at 279. James Jones at 16.8 points. So you're looking at baggage claim right now, and 279 and 10 more points would put him up into 4th place. And again, with the top prize tournaments, like that's a lot of money. So good for him using James Jones. Other people might have used James Jones in their cash lineups as well. Now the other people need some Travis Kelce. We talked to some people that had Kelce. Randall Cobb going off. James Jones going off. Charles got the touchdown. Now it's Travis Kelce's turn. I wouldn't be surprised if we had some Kelce here as Jamal Charles breaks off a little bit of a run. But I do hear someone on the other line. Is that Andrew Wiggins?
No, it's not, David.
Oh, it's Drew Dinkmeyer.
How are you, guy?
Hi, Drew. How are you, bud?
I'm doing pretty well. This is a good first half for me. How about you?
Yeah. Other than I had Kelce, I had Rodgers as 2 tight ends, but man, for Jamal Charles and James Jones, it could be worse for sure.
Yeah, it's been a good fantasy half for pretty much anybody who's played guys in this game. You got Cobb scoring a touchdown, James Jones scoring a touchdown, Rodgers throwing 3, Charles in the end zone. Kelce's been the one kind of frustrating point because they're just not trying to get him the ball. But you figure with this game script that he'll have to get some opportunities in the second half.
Yeah, and he did actually get an opportunity that he dropped in the first half inside the 10 and just bobbled the ball and didn't get it. All right, Drew, I'm looking right here on Twitter, and how good are you feeling? How good are you feeling that Dartmouth, their women's tennis program, Dartmouth, where you went to school, is tweeting about you?
Yeah, it's cool. It's fun. The coach on the women's team, Bob Dallas, is a great guy. Has really turned that program around. They're a really good college tennis program now. They're like a top 30, top 40 team in the country. And he was the coach of the women's team when I was there playing on the men's team. And Davy Jones, who was an assistant coach for us, helps that team out as well. So it's cool. They're really good people, and it's fun when you have other people kind of enjoying in your own success. It's really cool.
Drew, I can feel comfortable that in saying that you have now made it.
I feel good. I feel like that was a defining moment.
Yeah. So as they say in the television commercials, Drew Dinkmeyer, welcome to the big time. When you have
real person, not actor.
when you have Dartmouth's women's tennis program tweeting about you, you know that you're the real deal. All right. So Drew, if you haven't already, you should know that people are sending their crazy selfie pictures using hashtag DKTV. Crazy week, crazy selfie. And really, it was like a crazy high scoring week. We had the second highest scoring team. The perfect lineup so far has been a 348, and this team has a 301. Your thoughts just about this week?
Yeah, it's probably the highest scoring fantasy week I would imagine we'll see all season. So many guys scored multiple touchdowns, 2 and 3 touchdowns, and you don't usually get that. And you got it from across price ranges too. So you had cheap running backs going nuts. You had expensive wide receivers going nuts. Greg Olsen, a mid-priced tight end, went off. So it was just wild. And I can't imagine that we'll have too many more times this year where over 300 points is going to be what it takes to win the Millie Maker. But just really cool, really fun Sunday. I know the first 2 weeks for me, it was like watching a lot of bad football. And not necessarily that high-scoring games means good football, but I thought there was more good football in general this week than the first 2 weeks. So that was a good thing for the game as well.
Drew, we are actually going to have a game of Family Feud with you.
Oh, dear.
Yep. We're going to have a game of Family Feud with you. We'll have to set up logistics in a little bit, but don't go anywhere because you and Andrew Wiggins are going to be doing the Family Feud. And if you hit the 200-point mark, then we're going to do a special DKTV free roll.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, so it is fun, and I just made it up. So hopefully it'll be all right. So as far as some of this, the injury news, Ben Roethlisberger out 6 to 8 weeks. So as far as the backup quarterback situation there, Mike Vick, your thoughts on now Vick taking over the reins of this potent offense?
Yeah, and unfortunately, this is becoming a little bit too common early in the season, is having these top quarterbacks go down. We've already lost Tony Romo, Drew Brees, now Ben Roethlisberger. It's really frustrating because the skill gap at the quarterback position is bigger than any in the NFL. And so introducing these backup quarterbacks into the league isn't really a great thing for the game's perspective. But Vic individually, he's always been a fantasy darling because he does stuff with his legs. He gets fantasy points by using his legs. It'll be interesting to see that second half. It looked like it just didn't look like he had a real great flow with the offense, and it didn't look like he had a lot of experience. And then this week it kind of came out that he's been doing the scout team quarterbacking in practice. So he's been learning the other team's playbooks more often than he's been learning his own playbook. And that's a tough position, especially on a short week. But min price, 5,000, I think that's going to draw some attention for those Thursday slates this week.
Yeah, I definitely think it will. And even if he's, obviously if you're playing Thursday night, he's in consideration. But for the Millie Maker this week, you can't use him. You can use him next week. And isn't next week when Martavis Bryant is back?
Yeah, so week 5, we'll get Martavis Bryant back, and he's just another high-powered option for that offense. His skill set doesn't match up great with Vic, just because he's a guy who works kind of deep down the field, and Vic's a guy that tends to kind of work the middle intermediate routes or the dump offs. So it'll be interesting to see that fit. But I was really excited to see Bryant back with Big Ben. So that's really disappointing because that offense is so good already. Just adding another component to stretch the field would have been really cool to see.
Yeah, we did have some questions. Obviously, it was crazy because last week no running backs did anything. Like, it was just running back graveyard. This week, like, if you didn't do something and you were running back, something was the matter with you. @_Gunner Wright says, would you start Freeman or Randall week 4 after their monster week 3 numbers?
Wow, I haven't started looking into the schedule, so I'm pulling that up in front of me. The question with Freeman will be Coleman's availability in terms of if he's going to be back next week. That was kind of a week-to-week rib thing that he had going on. Obviously, Freeman's earned the right to be the starter. Next week he gets Houston. An okay matchup at home. They'll probably be favored. I like to take running backs when they're favored, so he'll be in consideration. Randall is a little bit of a tougher situation for me, simply because they're on the road and a Sunday night game at New Orleans. I know New Orleans' defense isn't very good at all, and they've kind of been run all over all season long. But on the road Sunday night, I don't know, splitting carries. He didn't get the full workload, and he doesn't do anything in the passing game, which hurts you on DraftKings with a full point per reception. So I think I'm a little bit more bullish on Freeman than Randall right now.
Yeah, Randall is like one of the free agents that I have in my only season-long league, and I still am not sure I want to spend any sort of fab on him. You know what fab is, Drew, right?
You have Joseph Randall on your free agency in your season-long league? Are you in like a 4-team league?
It's a 12-team league.
How is Joseph Randall on waivers? He's a starting running back.
Someone dropped him last week. Don't ask me questions. I just know he is. It's
is
like
Aaron DeKing in your league?
Yeah, I was about to say it was one of the Aaron DeKing. So our league is like a 3-tier league where you've got the 4 players. Natural Slugger is in that league. A couple other guys that are now getting into daily fantasy also in that league, and guys that just eat, sleep, and breathe fantasy football. The next 4, they've gotten a lot better in the past. This is our 11th year that we've been doing it.
Wow.
And it shows you kind of how long it's been since college. But and then the last 4, they're just not going to get it. They're just there for to donate and to have a good time. And
So you've got 4 tacos in your league.
Exactly. To get money. And 3 of them refuse to admit that they are a taco, but they are definitely tacos of the league. What's even better is that the guy that had 1-2 in the past is worse than any of the tacos has ever been. So like everybody is just venting after everything that you've got that one guy that just gives everybody crap. And this year his team is just terrible. And so he's getting it. And that's why I told him, hey, you need to get in DraftKings because then you can win every week.
Every week's a new season.
Every week's a new season. Welcome to the big time, Taco. All right, Smooth Mang says, I've seen people use 2 tight ends in their lineups. Is this a good idea? I think this kind of goes into the fact that the pricing on the tight ends is pretty soft, and you can get in some of those higher price guys.
Yeah, and I think it depends week to week. So we saw after week 1, some of the prices on the tight ends shoot up. Like Tyler Eifert got much more expensive, and Greg Olsen kind of came way down. So he was a great play this week, obviously, with that price point down. But I think it depends week to week. You have mentioned that overall the top tight ends seem to be priced a little bit softer than the top wide receivers. So it gives you a little bit more flexibility to maybe spend up at multiple positions if you use a few tight ends. But for me, it's a week-by-week decision. Like this week with so many cheap running backs, I never even considered 2 tight end lineups, except the leagues that I played on Thursday night where Jordan Reed was really, really cheap and I'd already used him. And so I was kind of Gronk or another expensive running back. But on weeks where there's not a lot of backup running backs available, I think 2 tight ends is a way to get like a cheaper, high-ceiling player into your lineup because when tight ends do well, it's usually via touchdowns. And so they have a little bit more variability to their performance, but a little bit bigger upside as well.
Yeah, I would agree with that as far as like the flex tight end spot. And this was another situation where we considered before the Eddie Lacy questionable to probable news, like we considered using Starks in that flex spot. And if it turned out that Lacy was playing, use Richard Rodgers in that spot. Rodgers has not been targeted in the end zone. So if you played him in cash games, you did it wrong other than the playing the Greg Olsen. I'm not sure if you saw the interview earlier, you probably didn't, but there's a guy that had a Cam Olsen team that has Travis Kelce.
Ooh.
And he could have had Cam and Olsen.
Ooh, that hurts. I know I was doing some second guessing on myself because I used John Brown in one of my cash game lineups, and right at 5,000 was Kendall Wright, and right below that was James Jones. And I was kind of beating myself up a little bit over it today, and then James Jones is going even more bonkers, making me feel even worse about it. So that's tough. You're always going to get into those situations, and especially on a tournament team, if you had the opportunity to pair Cam with his top receiver, that's a tough one to get over.
Yeah, and I didn't want to say too much to him, but he would be in second place with 300 had he have stacked Cam Olsen or Cam Newton with Greg Olsen. So I didn't press the issue too much. I did ask him though about the question. All right, as far as the game flow of this game, you've got actually Kansas City who gets the ball first and down 24-7. I feel like this is still good, especially on DraftKings, if you have Kelce, if you have Charles, because they're in obvious passing situations. They just have to be better.
Yeah, I think so. And, Charles gets a lot of value through the point per reception. He's always been a good pass-catching running back. And so hopefully there's an opportunity here. I think it will be very important if you have Packers players that you want to see Kansas City in one of these first 2 drives find the end zone. In Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay, they usually don't really take their foot off the gas too much. But just in terms of, fourth quarter meaningful drives, the quicker that Kansas City can kind of keep this game within 2 scores, the better for that side of the ball.
All right, I'm getting some of these pictures that are coming in, so they're pretty good. We'll have the crazy week, crazy selfie. Again, use hashtag DKTV and get crazy with it. I mean, get like Drew Dinkmeyer level crazy. Drew, are you wearing a jersey right now?
No, I'm in my customary dry fit. I just basically live in dry fit.
In your workout gear?
Yeah, and I never work out. So it hasn't worked as a motivating factor.
Do you have the DraftKings mesh shorts?
I do not.
I don't either. I need them because like Mondays when I travel to Boston are like the day that I wear buttons. Like other than that, Just get me some elastic and cotton and some dry fit, and I'll be good. All right, let's talk about some of the other news. Sammy Watkins, Vernon Davis, Marshawn Lynch. Andrew Wiggins thinks that Marshawn Lynch just didn't want to play. Like, he just said, we're a 14-point favorite. I don't really want to play. I'm guessing you don't buy into that.
I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that, I mean, he was available. And I think the fact that he was available suggests that maybe they felt like, okay, if the game is competitive, we'll use Marshawn. But I think early on, it's like once they got up a touchdown, it was kind of apparent that the Bears didn't have a very good chance at scoring a touchdown. So I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of played it on the safer side of things. I don't know if that's a Marshawn decision or if that's a team decision or how that kind of worked, but it wouldn't surprise me given how important he is to their team as a whole and given how little chance they had of conceding that game to the Bears in any way.
All right, Drew, let's play a game. Name me the top owned player yesterday.
The highest owned player yesterday.
Highest owned player.
I don't know the question. I don't know the answer to this, but I'm going to guess, and I'm going to guess wrong probably, but I'm going to guess Brandon Marshall.
No, Brandon Marshall, number 5. It was Julian Edelman.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
that surprised me as well. I did think I was being clever by going cheap at running back and using Edelman, Antonio Brown, and Brandon Marshall. And Antonio Brown, number 3, Marshall, number 5. So I had like the chalkiest of chalk there with Deion Lewis. But if you look at the top 10, Edelman, Gronk, Brady, and Deion Lewis, no Blunt there.
Yeah, and where's DraftKings based again? Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah, it could be the Boston effect.
Could be a little Boston effect there, but no. I mean, the Patriots, they score 51 points. You feel like you can't go wrong, kind of picking a player from their game. But interestingly enough, Blunt was really the only guy that went nuts. I mean, Brady had a good game, but he didn't go crazy. So it was kind of interesting that they scored 51 points. And if you took a Patriots player, you probably felt a little disappointed.
All right, we're going to do the selfie. I've got Rob doing like a wing picture. What is the wing? What's that? Whoa, Wiggins. How is this Wiggins? We have got to work on our signs. All right, we've got to work on our signs. We got 5 guys back here, and surely one guy has to come up with a better sign than Wiggins. But Andrew, are you there?
I'm here.
So they kind of called you the Birdman.
Turn your sound up. Sorry. I was sitting here listening to you guys chat, and I wasn't paying attention to them telling me I had to get on. So I'm getting frantic calls, and here I am. I made it.
All right. Did you know that your new sign is this right here? That was the sign they were giving me.
Well, I like it.
Yeah.
Can we do that every week?
I think they were going for Wing and Wiggins. I don't know where that was. We'll definitely have to play like a charades type game at some point. Where we do this. All right. So we're going to take a look at some of these crazy selfies. And I know you guys can't see, but Kelsey with another target. That's 3 targets on this drive. They're just going at him heavy. So let's take a look. Josh Kropp at Crop JW. Wondering where Kelsey is while sweating the Sunday night special among others. His DK name is Crop JW. And he has like the stankiest look on his face. That is like the stanky no Kelsey face. But again, Kelsey with 3 targets on this drive. They just didn't do anything with it. Ben at BCACC3 says, who says DraftKings advertises too much? Sweat selfie. And let's see if we can get that on the screen. Un momento, por favor. So there you go. He's got all the DraftKings stickers on his face. Did you guys see the Jimmy Kimmel tweet?
No.
Jimmy Kimmel tweeted last night. He said, I want to look at the super moon, but I'm afraid I'll miss a DraftKings commercial. Like, That is like free advertisement for DraftKings. Like, I thought that was pretty cool. Next one, David Corlez at Zell Apple says the King DKTV, and he has I don't know what he has, like a big DraftKings logo on his head, but man, that face will haunt you. So thank you for that. You get a DraftKings Millionaire Maker ticket as well. Nick, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name, at MPD828. Let's see if I've got the social media guys laughing. He says, I need a blanket, and it's just him with a blanket because he's so crazy like that. All right. So thanks to everybody that sent in a crazy. I feel like we can get crazier selfies. I really feel like the selfie game can be a lot crazier. Okay. I'm going to be talking to our producer real quick. Ben, is there any way so Andrew cannot hear Drew talking or me talking?
This game you've developed is not going to work, is it?
Yeah. Andrew, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Oh, dang it. I've got questions for you guys, but one of you can't be able to hear me. All right, we'll come back. We'll come back to the game and we'll go cut to a break and figure out how we're going to do this, because I really want to play this Family Feud edition of Daily Fantasy. Andrew, as far as how your lineups are going tonight, are you sweating anybody in tonight's games?
Yeah, just in the sense that I want no scoring at all to occur in the team. So really Cobb, I think, is probably the guy that was owned the most. I haven't looked too closely tonight. That was just my assumption. And so I was hoping he wouldn't have a very good game, but he's been getting targeted pretty heavily. He's found the end zone once. I think they'll probably slow it down a little bit, maybe grind it out with Lacey. That's what I'm hoping for the second half here. But then again, like Drew was saying, the Packers usually don't let off too much. So I wouldn't be shocked if Rodgers throws a few more touchdowns here.
And it is raining pretty heavily out there, so you might get some. You might get a guy that just dropped a very easy interception.
Ooh.
Yeah. So you had Rodgers that got away with one there, but I really feel like Aaron Rodgers is going to try to put his foot on the gas in this game. Just really try to flex his muscle, show what he can do after just blah games, basically. So, all right, we're going to cut to a quick break. So we're gonna cut to Jay Rayner's contender video. And the reason why we're cutting to this video is because it's Jay Rayner's birthday. So beep, I'm a Jeep. Happy birthday. Here's your video. We'll be right back after this with our daily fantasy Family Feud game.
I like the name Beep I'm a Jeep because it's kind of, Jeeps kind of take the road less traveled. They're able to go off-road and kind of do stuff that's different. And I think that sort of defines my play style, is that I do things a little more off-road and different. Last year I was the World Baseball Championships at Atlantis, and I was fortunate enough to bring 3 of my friends, and I told them going into it, I probably won't win, so we'll just have fun and we won't worry about winning or losing. Fortunately, ended up getting second. It ended up being like one of the probably the best day of my life. A lot of cool stuff happened that day, and it was pretty exciting. As far as making my brand, I feel like other people kind of made my brand as opposed to me, which is kind of nice because it's more organic. Now I'm kind of pigeonholed into being that guy that wears like cat shirts and stuff, which isn't like super optimal.
Kind of oddly enough, right around the fame started to get to Jay, I mean, he took on this kind of alter ego with these cat shirts and stuff. Unfortunately, for all of us, actually, when we go out, it's a little bit of an issue.
The goal of mine is to be in the Guinness Book of World Records. You know, a lot of times people think that breaking a world record is about, you know, being the best at one thing, but a lot of it is strategy. It's like, I was hoping to break a Guinness Book of World Records thing for eating the most Hershey Kisses in a minute, which is only 15, but surprisingly difficult. Another goal is I'm gonna join Mensa, not because I'm a super genius. I'm probably average, maybe slightly above average. I don't know what I am, but either way, I'm gonna join Mensa because I think it would be sweet if I was ever on a reality TV show to be able to say that I'm like a certified genius.
Jay's a very, very competitive person. 2 years ago was the Canadian Board Games champion. All of our group of friends played games pretty seriously, and Jay even more so than most of us. Every sort of 6 months to a year, we change our nickname for Jay.
One time my nickname was the Sugar Man because I was just drinking so many Powerades. Rainlock Holmes, I used to love solving mysteries. You know, Snake Shot was because I went on, you know, we had a foosball table and we were all playing and being kind of competitive with each other. And then
Jay got on YouTube and found out that in professional foosball, people are so much better at goaltending than they are at shooting that basically there's only one shot that they can use to score on each other, and that's called the snake shot. And it's basically you contort your wrist at some weird angle, you slide your wrist weirdly on the ball.
I just stay at home researching how to be really good at foosball.
We were all pretty close, and then all of a sudden, Jay just comes out and he's just ransacking us at foosball.
Winning is not always about beating someone else. Sometimes it's just more about doing the best that you can sort of thing. So even with fantasy sports, you know, sometimes you'll win a tournament and then that'll be like, oh, I beat everyone else, and that's exciting. But sometimes winning can be almost intrinsic, sort of. You always got to be pushing yourself against yourself. Going into this upcoming championship, I think, you know, with one entry, you've got one shot out of a million. You want to make sure you're, you know, doing the right thing. When you have 5 entries, you can kind of try things that you wouldn't be comfortable trying with one entry. I think it's an ancient Chinese proverb, but if you seek life, then you'll die. But if you accept death, then you'll live. And what that means is that if you're so concerned about, you know, living and surviving and cashing, that's going to cause you to play like everyone else and to essentially lose because you're playing like everyone else and you're playing conservative. But if you accept that I'm going to lose, you may as well try whatever you think is best, and that will allow you to live.
A fresh lineup every weekend. Huge tournaments. Real cash prizes. Come on, people, it's not 2007 anymore. Fantasy football has evolved. Your roster should be earning you more than just bragging rights. This is daily fantasy football on DraftKings, where it's like a whole new season every weekend. Build the ultimate fantasy lineup by balancing the big salary stars with diamond-in-the-rough prospects. Decipher the studs from the duds with DraftKings player cards. All the stats you need to make the right call are at your fingertips. Consider pairing teammates on your lineup. A passing touchdown can earn you points for both the QB and receiver. When you're set, click submit and watch your handcrafted lineup rack up points. Touchdown! Track your lineup on the couch or on the go. Talk trash, win cash, and bask in your own drafting genius, all in a day's work. Daily fantasy sports glory. Make it your reality.
He's thrown 38 touchdowns.
All right, we are live. I hear Andrew and Pete. I mean, Andrew and Drew. So, guys, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Are you ready to play this game?
Are you ready to play this game?
You explain the rules to us.
The rules is just like Family Feud at the end of you have to answer 5 questions and you get points. You combine the 2 of your points. If the combined point total is 200 points or more, we're going to have a DKTV free roll. If you do not get 200 points or more, then basically
We've let everyone down.
Yeah, I don't want to say it like that, but basically.
So who conducted this poll? Like, did you? The survey says who took the survey. Please tell me, Ethan Haskell.
No, these are like actual questions that were aired on the show.
That were aired on Family Feud show.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right. So one of you has to choose not to listen. So one of you, we're gonna have to trust you to turn your volume down.
I'm shutting down.
Okay. There we go.
I don't know how I'll ever come back, but
I'll just motion you. Just turn down your volume, and I'll do the Wiggins motions.
Tell Ben to type in Skype chat because I can't see you.
You're gonna have to motion, Drew. You're gonna have to motion because otherwise, Dave's on delay.
Yeah. Okay. We got it. We're good.
All right. See you guys later.
The motions. All right, Drew, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Next week we'll have like some dramatic theme soundtrack in the background. 30 seconds on the clock. If a football player loses his cup, what might he put down his pants for protection?
Pass. No idea.
Name something you would not want to wake up next to.
A dog.
Name a vegetable people grow in their garden.
Tomato.
Besides money, what would you like more of?
Food.
Name the age when men start losing their hair.
35.
All right. So that'll do it.
That first question, I need to end up hearing the responses because I have no idea.
Oh, all right. Andrew, are you there? And, Drew, did you do the motions to him?
I'm back. Do this.
All right. Drew did what I thought Drew might do. All right. Andrew.
What does that mean? Is that good or bad?
Well, it's bad. All right. So 30 seconds on the clock. And go. If a football player loses his cup, what might he put down his pants for protection?
Oh, geez. Spoon.
That's it. All right. Name something you would not want to wake up next to.
Fat chick.
Okay. Name a vegetable people grow in their garden.
Tomato. Cucumber.
Besides money, what would you like more of? He's frozen.
Love. Friends.
Friends? Okay, friends. Name the age when men start losing their hair.
25 for this guy, but no, I'll say 35. What do you mean,
That means the answer's already been taken. Do you never watch Family Feud? Come on.
It's been a long time. 40.
Okay, there you go. All right. So let's look at the answers.
All right, I'm back.
Okay, if a football player loses his cup, what might he put down his pants for protection? Drew said pass. Andrew said a spoon. A freaking spoon.
My first thought was hand, but that didn't really make sense.
Hand is on the board. Hand.
Damn it.
Just go with what you. Just as Family Feud, you go with what. You go with your gut instinct. So you guys got 0 points for that. Sock was the number one answer with 21 points. All right,
yeah, that makes sense.
Name something you would not want to wake up next to. Drew said a dog. Are you kidding me? Like, that's your answer? A freaking dog?
Yeah, that's my answer.
Gosh. And Andrew went like the exact opposite route, like with a heavier lady. So I'm going to give Andrew 8 points for an X, just because I feel bad for you guys and I really want to see you guys win this free roll. Corpse, a dead body, was the number one answer.
Jeez, that's pretty morbid.
That's
Oh, yeah, that's morbid. But yeah, what you said.
So dog wasn't up there?
No, dog was not there at all because these are actual human beings with emotions. Drew, not
Damn it, America,
not Dinkbot. All right, name a vegetable that people grow in their garden. Drew, you said tomato, and so did Andrew. Which number one answer? That's 59 points, so that's a lot of points.
Yes.
And then Andrew, you said cucumber, which is 5 points. Second best answer was carrot, but cucumber or tomato definitely the biggest. Besides free time, what would you like more of? Drew said food, which is, I mean, listen, if it was me giving points, you would get all the points for this. However, not on the board. Friends, the number two answer from Andrew with 20. Free time, the number one answer. And then the last two, you guys both actually got the top two answers. Name the age when men start losing their hair. You said 40, Drew, which is 25, and or no, Andrew, you said 40, 25 points, and then Drew said 35, which is 23 points. So 48, 68, 127, 132, 140.
Feel like we came up a little shy.
Bum, 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 bum.
That's a tough game.
It's a tough game when you're using spoon to protect your private parts.
That was bad. I'll admit it.
How many points would Hand have gotten us?
Hand would have got you 11, but you would have lost some dignity on that one. So
I think it was worth the trade-off for me not to say Hand.
Man, oh gosh, I lost my cup. Give me a spoon. All right.
Different kind of cup, Wigan.
Yeah.
I had nothing.
All right. So that was fun. We'll have another game at the end when we're just like basically trying to milk the clock. I've got another game. It's a lot better. It's a lot easier, and there will be no dignity lost. All right. So we're gonna go to Mojo 227 now. So guys, we'll get off the air with you guys, and I'm sure we'll be back with you two throughout the night. So we'll be right back.
Sounds great.
All right. So we're going to Scott Scholes. Scott is is it Mojo 227 or Moho 227?
Mojo sounds a bit better. It's Mojo.
Okay, so Mojo 227. So you've got the Mojo. Tell us what you're sweating right now.
Well, actually now sweating Randall Cobb catching everything, chasing me. But we also have your Jamal Charles moving here. That's the guy I have left. So we got to get him back on the field. Now I know what opposing fans go through watching my Packers. Huge Packer fan, rooting for Jamal Charles tonight. But you can't get the guy off the field. 3 and out. Not a possibility.
Yeah, so it's always an interesting scenario when the team that you love is the team that you're trying to fade. I had some Dante Moncrief shares, and I actually went to the Titans-Colts games yesterday, and so you have to do like a silent fist pump. And this is when you're saying, okay, Packers, you're up 24-7, just take it easy and get maybe the backups in.
Yeah, grind it out. Bring your backup defenders in. Give them some playing time, and let's get some garbage touchdown and yardage.
All right, so Scott, you have a little bit of a sweat in the Thursday, Monday kickoff million. You had a running back going tonight. I have your lineup printed out, but I don't have who your running back was. Is it? Okay, so it is Jamal Charles. So you're hoping for a lot of these dump off passes.
Yep.
In that last drive, he did have some room to run. And got tackled, but you're hoping for some long touchdown passes.
Yeah, well, just like I said, garbage time. I mean, they're up by, what are we, up by 17 right now? So just get some garbage time dump offs, but the full PPR, it's pretty sweet.
All right, so talk to me about your lineup. You had Devontae Freeman, Antonio Brown, AJ Green, Steve Smith Sr., Eric Ebron, Bilal Powell, and the Cardinals, and you basically hit on 3 40-point guys.
Yeah, that's huge. Devontae Freeman, I was all over him. I actually had Tevin Coleman in one of my big fantasy leagues, and when he went down, picked up Devontae Freeman. Have been watching a lot of what was going on with Coleman this year, and it was just like there's nobody else on that team that's going to touch the ball. So he was probably at 90% of my lineups. Antonio Brown, got to play him if you can fit him in. Take the cash down with Antonio these days. Although that's going to change a little bit with Michael Vick in the backfield. And then Steve Smith. Steve Smith, I think I drafted him in every fantasy league that I'm in this year, just for the fact that watching a little bit of the preseason games. I mean, once again, Flacco has nobody else to throw to, so kind of the plan there. Had that lineup pretty much set, even the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and you went with Eric Ebron as your tight end, and Bilal Powell, and those guys had decent games, just not the games you're hoping for.
Yeah, and Powell was kind of like a throwing a buddy of mine, big Jets fan. So he had mentioned something to me about Ivory, a little banged up, not sure what was going on. There were some questions on the injury report. So Powell was just the throw, and Ebron just fit at the end. He was the fit, although could have changed to Owen Daniels last night catching the touchdown, which bit of a mistake there. But what you gonna do? Detroit doesn't have Ebron. I'm sorry, earlier in the year, first two games he scored a TD, so had to go with him.
Yes. So talk to us a little bit about how you got started with DraftKings.
DraftKings, well, I do. I buy some advertising on a radio show that actually had DraftKings as one of their advertisers. So I heard about it. I had started on other sites. I've been on DraftKings about a year and a half now, but had been with other sites in DFS for over probably a couple of years now. Once you get hooked on DFS, the regular wagering on a game just takes too long. So DFS is kind of addicting, but love DraftKings for the fact that, especially during baseball season, where I don't have the time to spend the whole day and every day at 5:30 getting the lineups to make sure who's playing. You can change a guy out if he doesn't happen to be playing that night. Love DraftKings.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. You definitely have a great team, and Jamal Charles has the potential to have some garbage time situation where every point that he gets is going to move you up the leaderboard. Currently in 18th in the kickoff million. So good luck to you, Scotts, and here's sending you some more mojo than you already have.
Oh, Mojo. Thanks, man. Thanks for the time.
Oh, no problem. All right. So that was Mojo227 has Jamal Charles with only 12.6 points. Another flag on the play. The Packers defense are just swallowing up this Chiefs offense. And the Packers offense is just, we're waiting to see what they do. You had a long Cobb run. That Cobb touchdown they got called back is going to hurt. But I think we have on the line Baggage Claim, who is now in 8th place at 281.82. All right. I saw your tweet while I was doing the show, JFJ, and I knew like something has gone right. You're in 8th place right now. So this is almost like not quite best case scenario. But
hold on 1 second. Sorry,
it's okay.
Here.
But you have James Jones, who at 18.7, and they are targeting him some more, as we just had an interception and
an out of bounds.
Right. Yeah, and there is a flag, so that could even be a holding, but they might have another red zone opportunity here.
Yeah, that touchdown was huge. Just Sammy Knowles actually telling me that it probably should have been whistled dead, but fortunately it was not.
Yeah, they were offsides actually, and because the defense was offsides, they decided to let it go, and James Jones was in the corner of the end zone.
Yeah, so when he looked left, I knew it was going to him.
Yes. If you talk to Sammy Knoll, do you tease him about Jameis Winston being so bad this season?
I tease him about a lot of things. including that.
and
he's always posting all. He changed his Twitter picture to like a Buccaneer version of Jameis, and is always talking about Florida State.
Yeah, Florida State and anti SEC. We see the Packers now on the 5-yard line.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, 281.82, and we have Randall Cobb for that touchdown. So
I haven't really looked behind me. I'm not sure if that helped anyone nearby.
I don't think there's anyone too close to you with that score, but obviously you wanted to have. Actually, there is one person, and so he is going to be, I think, 6 points behind. Actually, no, he didn't get the touchdown yet. He's 0.1 points behind you, but you both need points though to climb up. Like top 5 is a huge payday, and
Right.
I know you're going to be sweating that.
Yeah, and just the extra touchdown there with the game flow and everything, and third quarter still, but I don't know if they're going to be throwing too many more touchdowns to Jones.
Yeah, up. There's still 7 minutes left though, and I don't think that Rodgers is going to take his foot off the gas. Now, it's interesting as far as Randall Cobb goes, because I felt like there's Randall Cobb and Jamal Charles who were the same price. I was wondering, should I swap some? And I didn't. And I have Jamal Charles, but you've got a lot of Charles and Kelsey teams back there that who knows what's going to happen now with the game being out of hand, and it's raining. So maybe they do rest James Jones, but you had a pretty good climb in 8th place. Do you know how many thousands of dollars did you win on that one catch?
I think it bumped me up. Well, just that one that they declined bumped me up 20,000, I think.
Yeah, so you're now sitting at $50,000.
Yeah.
And if you get all you need is a couple more catches, and you're again in that top 5 situation. And top 5, that's when you get the 6 digits. So
pretty insane.
Yes, these catches. I'm trying not to obviously state the obvious here, but these catches are worth a lot of money with the scores being so tight. And now again, there's just so much time left in this game.
Yep, anything can happen for sure. It's good to have someone left as opposed to sweating it with zero PMR.
Yes, if you and you're especially, I know you were in NBA, you play NBA too. Like when you have 0 minutes remaining in NBA and someone's chasing you, then it becomes
scary.
Yes, because he can climb the chart. So if you had the choice, you'd rather chase than be chased.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'd rather chase than be chased. And the nice thing is you don't have to, worry about the guy getting in NFL getting targets or someone shooting the ball in NBA. You don't have to worry about that stuff, but you still have to worry about all the little things just as much.
All right. We'll check back in if there's any James Jones action, any James Jones love for you. But wanted to check in again. A $30,000 catch or $20,000 catch. That's pretty cool, and you have the chance to get realistically another $50,000. So we'll see. We'll see if that works out. But regardless, top 10 finish. That's awesome. And good luck to you the rest of the night.
Thanks, Dave.
Whew, man. Randall Cobb, the story of the night, and he is 12.3% owned in the Million Maker. And we have Mizzy Cal, because Mizzy Cal is he has Randall Cobb and he's 281.72. And taking a look at Cobb, Cobb needs 13 points to get the bonus. So if he gets 13 points, assuming, let's just say he gets that on one catch, That's 2.3 points plus the extra 3, 5.3 points, and that puts him in 5th place. And that's what we're saying is the $100,000. So Mizzy Cow, second lineup, has Randall Cobb. And should anything crazy happen, another long touchdown, they could be in line for second place, maybe even first, as we see the ball almost intercepted, but Travis Kelce get the ball. And man, this Packers defense, they are just swarming. We'll have our DraftKings analysts on later on in the show again. We're going to play a game called Get to Know Your Backup Quarterback, where they'll be guessing some stuff. We'll also have a few more guests, but this crazy night just keeps on continuing. And we see the Packers D with this rain making it really hard for Kansas City to get any offense going, but that's what they're going to try to do. And if you have some of these people that have Jamal Charles, that have we got a long pass that did not make it, but also Macklin dropped a pass earlier. But the Chiefs can't do anything on offense, and so really the story is, what do the Packers do on offense? Do they continue to run the score up? Do they continue to put their foot on the gas? There is time still left in this 5th quarter. Or with the rain, with the lead, are they comfortable with just milking the clock and letting the reserves take over in the 4th quarter? So who knows? Garbage time could play a huge part in this. We're going to cut to break real quick. We'll be right back after this, so stick around. We're in the home stretch of the DraftKings Sweat Show here live from Boston.
Okay, here's what you need to know to start winning real cash prizes playing one-day fantasy esports at DraftKings. Whether you browse on your computer or on the free mobile apps, the game's the same. First, select your contest. Browse the featured lobby or view all esports contests. Choose from many marquee tournaments, head-to-heads, and beginner-friendly contests. Pick your contest and you're ready to draft. For all League of Legends contests, you'll draft one top laner, one jungler, one mid laner, one AD carry, one support, 2 flex players, which can be any of the 5 roles, and a team. Your goal is to build the best 8-man roster under the $50,000 salary cap. Each eligible player from that day's games is assigned a salary. They'll earn you points for kills, assists, objectives, and more. Once your lineup is complete, click submit, and that's it. Track your team online or on our free mobile app to watch your squad rack up points in real time. And when the last game is over, bask in your own drafting genius, as your winnings are automatically credited to your account. More sports, more winnings, more millionaires. It's a whole new season every week at DraftKings.
Oh man, I cannot wait to go over there and get, what? We're still going here? Are you serious? Oh man, what else do you want? We've gone about 4,000 miles. We've talked to team after team. By the way, how cool is this DraftKings Lounge? Check this out here in the Cowboys Stadium. All right, if you want to know, guys, we have interviewed player after player, coach after coach. I had the best time on this tour, I really did. But check out some of the other highlights of some of the biggest names in the NFL. Stop by the Glaze Across America DraftKings Tour Bus.
You've got to be kidding me. Oh my gosh.
Holy Toledo, man.
Who gave you permission?
What?
To put my picture on the side of this bus.
Dude, are you serious with a fireplace right now?
Are you serious?
Wow, I'm so serious.
I don't think you're licensed to handle this vehicle. You like the bus?
Welcome
what do you
to my
think?
bus. Oh,
Welcome to your bus, that's it.
Sweet.
TVs, right?
Good setup.
All right, sit your butt down with me, man. Why are you still doing this?
Because I love it. I love it. I love it. The competitive part of it. You know, I love that part of it. In the back of your mind, there's always the idea of, you know, being a champion once again.
Yeah, I think it's a completely fresh start. You know, obviously, a change of scenery, completely different system. It's just exciting to be in an offense that gives the quarterback so many options.
You don't turn on until you start getting your butt kicked a little bit.
But you kind of want to take that first hit because it's been since January, February since I've been hit last.
Johnny's done a great job. I think he's in a great place personally, which has allowed him to be in a much better place professionally.
Where have you taken the biggest jump when you came into now?
You learn a lot of football. You really do. Every year, especially that rookie year, second year, third, you learn a lot.
Last year's team wasn't good enough relative to the standard we've set and our expectations. And all of us, starting with me as the head coach, need to be better.
I think the year 3 is a big deal. You know, that we've had the stability, coaches in place, a lot of the key players in place here now for 3 years.
You want your receivers, they're all competitive, and they want the ball because they feel like if they get the ball, they can make plays, and they're gonna help out the team.
So Jimmy was my guy. I mean, Jimmy was like a younger brother to me, but it's not like we have to go out and find the next Jimmy Graham. No, we have to evolve.
I felt for Ray. I think we all felt for Ray. And we all do a pretty good job of kind of compartmentalizing everything and going out there and doing our job.
You know, he's confident in what he believes in, and he tells us all the time, trust me, I know what I'm doing, trust the process.
He just challenging us to be the absolute best.
One thing about being wise is seeing what other people do and using it yourself.
I've seen terrible leaders win, and I've seen great leaders lose. Right. But what are we saying? The determining factor of all is what? If you win.
We went 4-12 last year, so I mean, we can be worse, but how much worse can we get? We can only go up. So that's how I look at it.
Worst part of training camp?
The time here.
You mean the entire thing?
Yes.
That's it. How great is that? Finishing off in style here in the Cowboys Stadium. Folks, that's it. Jay Glazer, I am taking off. DraftKings, thank you so much for everything. Make sure you play DraftKings all year long. Fox, thank you so much as well. You guys know I absolutely hate flying. I terrorized America in our DraftKings bus. Thanks a lot, folks. Hey, can we change that, by the way, to just say Glaze across America? Where's Jerry and Stephen Jones?
Hey guys, Peter Jennings here with my top 5 NFL defenses of fantasy football at DraftKings.com. At number 5, I have the St. Louis Rams. They're one of 3 teams in the NFC West that made my list. I love what they've done with the defensive line. They added Nick Fairley to the already stacked defense of the first-round picks. I think Greg Williams is going to have a lot of options here, and they should be one of the best defenses in all of football. Moving to number 4, I have the Miami Dolphins. They made a huge splash with Ndamukong Suh on a $114 million contract. I think he's the difference maker, and I think they could be the best defense in the AFC. At number 3, I have the Arizona Cardinals. I absolutely love this team. They're another NFC West team on my list, and I think Patrick Peterson and the Honey Badger make an incredible secondary. Patrick Peterson's one of my favorite guys. I think he'll score a ton of fantasy points for you this year on the defensive side, and I also got to play golf with him this year. At number 2, I have the Jets. New York Jets, I know they're not a great offensive team, but they will make up for it with an incredible defense. They brought in a lot of guys, including Darrelle Revis and their first-round pick, Leonard Williams. They could be the best defense in football, and they definitely have a chance to compete in every game with this defense. At number 1, no surprise here, the Seattle Seahawks make the top of my list. They have so much talent in that secondary. Richard Sherman is an elite shutdown corner, and they play an incredible style of play, which should lead to a lot of fantasy points. So those are my top 5 defenses of the 2015 NFL season. Let me hear yours in the comments below. For more, subscribe to DKTV.
And we are back here at DraftKings Sweat Show, Week 3. We've got the $7 million tournament going on and a lot of other tournaments. We're talking right now with fellow DraftKings analysts, Drew Dinkmeyer and Andrew Wiggins. Guys, we just had a Jeremy Maclin touchdown, which probably a lot of Kelsey and Jamal Charles owners were not liking. But on the flip side, if you're a guy sweating these Packers lineups, you are feeling good about it.
Yeah, that was important if you have Packers players to keep the game in consideration. And congratulations to Kansas City Chiefs on their first wide receiver touchdown since 2013.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Wow. Drew Dinkmeyer dropping that can't be right.
They did not have a wide receiver touchdown all year last year, and it was week 14 of 2013.
13 or 14, look at that.
Wow. That's been crazy as far as the way that the game flow. Like, how do you think the Packers? Do you think they kind of milk the clock with running plays?
I don't think that's in their style. I think they'll keep attacking. You know, 2.5 scores up right now. I think they'll try to push the pedal to the metal for the next drive at least. So I think if you've got Packers, you've got at least one more good drive, maybe two, before they go into kind of shutdown mode.
They've mostly been doing pretty short passes, just killing the clock through that, and I expect them to keep doing the same. They've had absolutely no trouble moving the ball. Mixed in some nice runs from Lacey, but yeah, I think if you have Cobb and you're moving up the leaderboards right now, I feel pretty good. I could score another touchdown or two.
Yeah, and Lacey must be feeling good, and the Packers must be feeling good about him if he's in this game at the end of the third quarter, still grinding out some runs. I'm not sure I would have him out there personally, but if eight rushes for 43 yards and he's still getting the touches.
Yeah, he's looked good today. He's had a couple nice runs, and they've mixed starts in a decent amount. I think, it makes sense, and maybe they'll mix starts in a little bit more down the stretch here, but I expect to see Lacey have a few more carries.
Drew's a big fan of Eddie Lacy. Drew, your thoughts on Mr. Lacey?
Yeah, he's playing well tonight, and the ankle doesn't look like that big of an issue for him. I mean, he's not a back that really relies on a lot of agility, so it's not a huge issue for him. He seems to be moving fine, and he's just shedding tacklers left and right tonight, which is his thing.
He always amazes me with that body type, the way he's able to move, because he just caught a nice pass just a minute ago, and he's got pretty good hands, and he's always kind of throwing people and spinning and just moves you don't expect to see out of him. So he always impresses me.
Yeah, bigger guys that have moves like that. We are a rare breed. If you've seen the DKTV, we need to get Andrew into the Olympics for the DraftKings.
Yeah.
Andrew and Adam into the DKTV DraftKings Analyst Olympics like we did last year.
I watched that video recently. I'd never seen it, and I wish that I still had not seen it.
Yeah, it was bad. It was like a display of athleticism. It was not. You also had Ethan Haskell working for DraftKings, like the worst false start ever, and he still tried to claim victory. One of the lowlights of DKTV for sure. As far as this game goes, Drew, you called it one last drive. You don't think that Rodgers tries to run it up a little bit, a la Carson Palmer and Larry Fitzgerald?
Oh, man, I don't think he'll do that. I think there's a chance that you get two drives out of Rodgers. And to be honest, with a lot of these guys that are hovering kind of around the bonus, that second drive, if they're able to move the ball down the field and score on this one, that second drive could be really important because we've got Randall Cobb at 87 yards. We've got James Jones around 80 yards. We've got Rodgers around 260. So they're all kind of moving towards that bonus, and 3 points can swing a lot of money at this stage of the week. So it'll be interesting to see if they are able to keep their foot on the gas, who gets that bonus first, because that could be deciding a lot of money out there.
Yeah, of course we talk a lot about GPPs. My main two cash games on DraftKings are sitting at 168 and 169, which the cash line is moving closer and closer to that. So if Cobb goes out there and gets the bonus, I'm a little bit nervous about my cash game action right now.
Yeah, they hand the ball to Lacey, it might be just a run pass situation where they are just trying to get off the field. It's funny how in fantasy, in real football, like no one would be watching really the end of this game. Like everyone would just kind of turn it off. But there are so many fantasy implications that people are just glued to what the garbage time is going to look like. And is Kansas City going to keep their guys out? Like you've seen Travis Kelce be targeted a lot the second half, which kind of happens sometimes. He can get lost in this Chiefs offense, which I don't understand, but it happens. So as far as you can look at Alex Smith with a dejected look on his face on the sideline, they're down 17. crazier things can happen. I mean, the Colts scored 21 yesterday against the Titans, but in Green Bay, Andrew, probably not going to happen.
Yeah, no, this game's over. But I wouldn't be surprised if like Kelsey or Charles catch a few easy passes when they get the ball back, and that's great. I mean, on that last drive, they ended up taking Charles out for a bit there, but I think he had 3 plays in a row where he just caught like 6-7 yard pass, and that's great if you have him in fantasy. So I would expect a few more points for him.
You've got James Jones catching a long pass, but I think there's a penalty on the play. I mean,
Wow.
that was a long pass.
That would have been huge for a baggage claim. That if that stood, that would have been the bonus. That would have been like 50 yards. That would have been like.
Oh, it's offsides on the Chiefs.
Wow, so that's going to hold. That's a huge play for James Jones, and that's going to push baggage claim into the top 5 easily.
And that just made him a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was potentially a $50,000 catch.
Well, he moved up to 4th, actually.
So $100,000 catch.
Wow.
So he's up to that was $100,000,
ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, $100,000 catch, and it could be even more if he catches a touchdown pass here. He moves into big money, and sure enough, they go to Cobb in the end zone, and he doesn't get it. Man. Cobb is getting the red zone targets this game though. So if you're a Cobb owner, you're liking that. So we'll have to check back in with baggage claim. But Mizzical at 281, if they got a pass right here, or if Cobb got a pass right here, he would be 2 yards, 3 yards away from the bonus, but would also be in contention for one of these top 4 spots. So you're talking about some fantasy implications on this. And if Eddie Lacy runs it in, there's going to be a lot of angry people. So sure enough, he runs it to the 5 yard line. But
there's some time that Eddie Lacy moves right there.
Yeah, and he does, like Adam Levitan called it earlier, like he does look bigger. Like
a lot of wiggle and a little jiggle.
Drew, did you come up with that by yourself?
I might have.
A lot of wiggle and a little jiggle. That's going to be a staple for Eddie Lacy now.
That's pretty good.
All right, so 3rd and goal on the 4 yard line, and you've got all the options out there. This is going to Jeff Janis. Just going to call it. It's going to Jeff Janis. Nope, it's going to Randall Cobb.
Another touchdown for Cobb. Wow. So there it is. Touchdown. That's going to move. That's going to be Mizzical is going to go way up now. That's probably almost $100,000 catch for Mizzical.
Wow.
So big time score right there. And we've got some DraftKings guys in the back that are pretty happy. I guess they had Cobb in their cash game lineup. So everybody's celebrating that Randall Cobb touchdown. Mizzical up to 5th place now, 2 points behind baggage claim. So baggage claim actually ahead with that long pass because of the 100-yard bonus. And you look at Mizzical's lineup right now. Randall Cobb at 91 yards, so needs another 9 yards. And if he would get that 9 yards, he too would join that 40-point club.
This is nuts. The amount of 40-point scorers we've had this weekend is totally crazy, and just the fact that we're almost adding 2 more tonight is nuts. I mean, Rodgers is almost there too. Like, this is wild.
And the think that for the cash games that you could be sitting in the high 160s and you might not be making money is wild. I mean, it's just absolutely bananas. I've never seen anything like that.
So, guys, we're going to get off here real quick. We'll be back. We're going to play the Get to Know Your Backup Quarterbacks. I feel like garbage time is going to go really fast. So we'll be back. We're going to go to a couple of interviews right now, and we'll be right back with you guys shortly.
Sounds good.
All right. So we have Maverick on the line. Maverick is currently winning a few tournaments, but Maverick, you're just like happy to play. Basically, you're one of the guys that we want to get on just to talk about your experience on DraftKings.
Yeah, I've been doing it here for it's my second season. I started out on a few other sites as well. I go back and forth each weekend, anywhere from winning $20 to $100, and won $1,300 about once last weekend. And right now I'm sitting all right at about 600. I'm just needing James Starks to get some garbage time here, maybe launch me up a little more.
Yeah, and he is in line for garbage points with up 24. They don't want to get Eddie Lacy hurt, so he definitely could have hit points. As far as like your getting started with DraftKings, you say this is your second season?
Yeah, I started out beginning of last year. Did some fan duels before that, and liked the PPR aspect on it with this, and not having the kicker there, and just been running with it. I enjoy it.
All right, and you're from Wisconsin, so does that mean?
No, I'm from Michigan.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're from Michigan. We had the yeah, it's okay. So I almost claimed you as a Packers fan, but then I see the Lions shirt on.
Yep, I'm in Grand Rapids, Michigan here.
Okay. As far as like what you're sweating tonight, you are ahead in the play action, the $6,000 play action, and you do have James Starks, and like you said, he needs some garbage time, and there is just a lot of scoring this week. I'm sure like you're well aware of, but looking at your lineup, you had Devontae Freeman, Moncrief, Eric Ebron, Antonio Brown, and the Dalton AJ Green pairing. Talk to us a little bit about the decision to go with Andy Dalton this week.
I always like to try to stack a quarterback with one of the receivers, kind of double up on those points there. He's a top 5 caliber receiver. He just hasn't really had his blowout game. I kind of just had an inkling that it was going to happen, so wanted to double them up. And then Julio's just a beast, so you always can go with him if you can fit him in there somehow. And was able to with the injuries. Tevin Coleman there, and wasn't sure what was happening with Lacy here, so I thought Starks could be a solid play as well. And when you're able to kind of supplement with some of those lower end or lower cost running backs due to injuries, you can really step up the dollar on some of the higher receivers.
Yeah, and you went really high with the wide receivers, and 2 of them, like you said, paid off. AJ Green and Julio Jones. Antonio Brown with that Roethlisberger injury probably affected him a little bit. He didn't really see too much second half love, but I feel like this was a good strategy, though, going 3 expensive wide receivers where that they're going to get you points, and going cheap at the running back position.
Yeah, whenever there's an injury, opportunity comes following after. So you can try to play those sneaky plays in there and slide them in there and save some money. You can splurge on some of the big names that are going to go off.
Yeah, for sure. Brian, we wanted to get you on here to talk and get to know you a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do outside of playing daily fantasy football?
Well, yeah, I'm in the insurance industry and financial planning. Also have a law degree, so I kind of dabble in some financial planning, estate planning, things like that as well. Pretty much I love going to Lions games here. I played hockey for about 15 years too, so I'm a big hockey guy. Looking forward to getting to some of that a little more. I've really just focused on the NFL aspect of my DraftKings, but anything going on the boat, getting outside, snowboarding, whatever I can do to get me out of the office and have some fun.
Very nice. Well, Brian, really appreciate you being on, getting to talk to you about your lineup. And again, a very good lineup, going really cheap at running back and getting those 3 stud wide receivers in there. And best of luck to you for the rest of the night.
Hey, I appreciate that. Thanks for having me on here. Love to do it again sometime.
Awesome. For sure. So we just had a head-to-head collision there. Someone is concussed for the Packers. They missed Alex Smith and ran into each other. All right, so we are into. I don't know I think it's probably garbage time. So coming up after this Chiefs drive, it's going to be I don't know. Like, is the Packers offense going to be on the field as far as the starters go, or are they going to have backups? So as far as the story of garbage time, it is a big story. So let's talk to let's just go over. I tell you what. Let's just go over some of the lineups in the Millie Maker. We'll do the Mizzy Cow currently in 5th, Baggage Claims currently in 4th, and both of those have Packers receivers, as does number 9, B Corbman, number 9. So he's 282 again. 8 more yards means 4.8 points, or 9 more yards, 4.9 points because of the bonus. So you're taking a look right now, and that would move B. Corbman into 7th place. And any sort of big touchdown would move him even further. Then you scroll down and you see someone Tritang with 2 players left. He has Randall Cobb and James Jones left. And so if they do anything, he's at 278. So if they do anything, he has a really big chance, honestly, of moving up even further into the top 10. And so we were curious to see, with the crazy scoring that went on yesterday, would today be a day where no one really competed for any of those top spots because of all the 40-point scores? And sure enough, you're seeing a lot of people right now with Randall Cobb, with James Jones, and they are chasing. So what's going to happen after this injury timeout? We'll see after the Chiefs get off the field. And do the Chiefs pack it in, or do they look for like 4 or 5 targets a la Jordan Matthews in the final 5 minutes? So you see him right now. Oh, he caught it, and he is trying to take it to the house. Will Jeremy Maclin bobbled it again, but he's down to the 14-yard line. So Jeremy Maclin might be a decent play with that. I don't know if he's going to get the bonus or not, but there might be a Jeremy Maclin team out there that just crept up after that long pass. I'm hearing somebody. Okay, just kidding. I don't hear somebody. That somebody you heard was nobody. All right, so Alex Smith, target to Travis Kelce, but he was tripped up. So he gets nothing. And I'm hearing that we are working on something, and it's a pretty well-known player. So hopefully we can get that on there. You probably know this guy. He was actually referenced earlier in the Sweat Show. But Chiefs right now on the 14-yard line. And if you're a Kelce owner, that's 2 targets in the red zone where they could not convert. And they go back to Maclin, and he just gets smacked by Clinton Dix. And it was I'm guessing they're going to call targeting on that. So you'll get the Chiefs inside the 5-yard line with a brand new set of downs. So who knows? There's going to be a lot of Jamal Charles owners. There's going to be a lot of Travis Kelce owners out there that really want the scoring opportunity. But right now we're going to bring on Max Dallery, is his DraftKings name. He there, Mr. Max Dallery.
I believe so.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, this thing's working. Is it working?
It is working. You're having a pretty good week this week then, right?
Yes, I am. I mean, it was just one of those weeks where 7 out of the 10 guys I was heavy on all went off.
Yeah. And, you could have just come to the DraftKings office and sweated this from the studio as Jamal Charles scores. Is that good or bad for you?
Probably net negative. But at this point, it's really just been a pretty great week. So
Yeah, you're not going to let anything anything dampen the spirits. Were you on Randall Cobb tonight?
Yeah, I have Randall Cobb on 100% of my teams. He was my highest leverage player. So that just kind of worked out well. I mean, this is definitely one of my best weekends in DFS.
Wow. Well, if Max Dowry is saying this is one of his best weekends in NFL, it must be a pretty big week. Talk to us a little bit about the decision to go with Randall Cobb over these other guys. Was it kind of the Monday night, the Vegas total? You just thought he had a really good matchup?
Yeah, I mean, I thought he had a really good matchup. I mean, he was getting healthier. I knew they were going to throw a lot of underneath throws, too. With the KC pass rush, he would get a lot of targets. The game kind of set up well, and his price, I guess, was going down. So I guess all those three things kind of, and I guess I really like them from my data perspective, too. So
yeah,
I'm not afraid to really go on those big risks, although if he got injured in the first quarter, it would have been pretty bad. But,
yeah.
I guess if you think you're on the right play, I think you should, if you're comfortable with your bankroll, kind of go. I think it's okay to go all in. I mean, there's plenty of people that disagree. I don't think anyone really knows. It's just kind of what I do. If I really like a player.
Yeah. So how many because you do play cash games, how many cash lineups did you have on DraftKings this week?
I played one in the main pretty much everywhere. But then in the multi-entry double ups, I kind of added more teams. But I really went heavy on one team. I happen to have Nick Foles as quarterback.
Oh, the one team had Foles as quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, I guess. But I mean, all my other QBs went out, so I'm not going to complain.
Did you have Greg Olsen?
I did. I was very heavy on Greg Olsen too.
All right, so Max Dallery with us. Max saying this is one of his better weekends. Max, how does it feel to start to you start to become kind of a household name? And did you kind of expect that a year or two years ago when you were? I mean, you've always been one of the top players, but did you expect kind of the notoriety that you have now started to receive?
I could never have imagined this. I know that other people like Drew, you've been kind of putting your face out there for a while, and I know a lot of other people. I'm still not putting myself out there, but kind of, I guess in the last year, I've just been on quite a great run. So I would never have expected it a year ago. I guess maybe I could have expected some of the success money-wise, but I guess I wouldn't really expect something else that comes with it. So it is interesting.
And people may not know that you're a college athlete.
I was a college athlete, although it probably is the easiest college sport you could possibly play.
All right, whenever we talk in person, I always want to ask you about what this is because it's not a big game down in the South where I'm from, but it's called squash, correct?
Yes. It's like everyone within 100 miles of the East Coast. That's about in north of Virginia. That's about the squash playing population in the U.S. So
is it like racquetball?
I mean, it's like racquetball. I think it's a little more difficult in the sense that the ball doesn't bounce. But I mean, it's more popular in other countries. But yeah, I mean, it's similar in the sense that they both have rackets, balls, and you're playing against the wall. So.
All right, so you know that Drew played tennis at Dartmouth, and the women's tennis team actually tweeted his picture out with congratulations to him. Has the squash team at the college that you attended ever tweet out a picture of you?
I mean, there are some pictures of me playing squash, but I don't think anyone's going to tweet those out. Not the athlete that Drew was.
Are you a table tennis player?
I do play ping pong, yeah.
Okay. We need to have a tournament where me, you, Drew, and Peter. Peter's good at pretty much everything, especially involving competition.
Yeah, Peter has a nasty forehand.
Oh,
backhand though.
Okay, well, I just might head over to your place because I hear it's a pretty sweet pad. I'm not going to say whose pad it was, but the guy's name rhymes with Majon Mondo. So if you can figure that out, you know where Max Salary lives now. Max, I gotta say, your style right now is this is the fourth quarter, and so Soccer Dave is going to do the same thing. You've got a little bit of a chest showing. I'm going to show a little bit of chest right now as well, and unbutton a button. So there you go. There you go. Me and Max both making really good lineups this week, winning dozens of dollars. Max, as far as talking about your lineup, who are some of the other guys that you were really heavy on this week?
I was really heavy on Adrian Peterson, Devonta Freeman. I had Melvin Gordon quite a bit. He was one of the duds, and Jared Cook a lot was another one of the duds. But pretty much my main quarterbacks were Cam, Mariota, Rodgers, Foles too.
Okay. So you said you had Mariota. I don't know if you saw the sweat show last night, but Pete got really offended. Really offended.
Well, he's been a luck homer for a long time.
Yeah. So CSU Ram 88 has been a luck supporter for a long time, and now you have Drew saying that he would rather have Mariota over luck long term. I want to get your take on it. Come on, give us a hot take.
I'm gonna say Mariota.
Okay.
I wouldn't have thought that, but I mean, I guess it is really small sample this year, which really is kind of. But I mean, Mariota looks unstoppable if he can get some time, and he's going to make better decisions. And he already makes some good decisions, but he doesn't really have the weapons. Some of the other teams have too, and he's still putting up pretty good numbers. So.
Yeah. And we have James Jones with another catch. Richard Rodgers had one earlier. You're hoping for James Jones up to 139. And so he's had a big day. You want 9 receiving yards out of Randall Cobb so he can get that bonus.
Yeah, has he been on the field the last couple plays?
I haven't seen him on the field yet, but I've been talking to you, so
yeah,
I don't think he's on the field right now. But
I don't think he'll be coming back in. Maybe.
Yeah, they're probably just going to give it to Starks. In fact, they just called a timeout. As far as your college football background, so people might not know that, like you've been the guy in college football DFS for the past 2 years, 3 years.
I mean, there's some other people up there, but yeah, I mean, I think there's.
Okay, you are one of the guys.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so you were just talking about Mariota, you were just talking about luck.
Yeah.
Like you've played those guys in daily fantasy college football. How fun is it to play DFS college football on Friday and Saturday, and then go right into Sunday, and then the following years play those rookies in NFL contests?
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun, and I think gives you a good perspective on what some of these rookies are going to do. Just following them intently, you can kind of know what to expect, but then again, there's always some rookies that perform that you really didn't see. But I think that, and it's just college football is a lot of fun to play. Just with the high scoring, and you can kind of really find players that not a lot of people have if you pay attention to the information and
And last week was like a crazy week with that TCU game.
Yeah.
I also saw you play a little bit, a few games with the Purdue quarterback, Blow.
Yes.
Is it Blow or Blau?
Yeah.
I don't even know how you Blau. But yeah, it's definitely a fun game when you have a guy like Blau go for 30 fantasy points at a really low salary.
I mean, those ones are tough because you really have to dig deep to figure out what you think he's going to do. Purdue's not a powerhouse team, but they're a good matchup. So those type of things can pay off.
What do you spend the most time on before we let you go? What do you spend the most time on as far as sport goes?
I think NFL and college football. I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, I'm out of NBA season now, but I mean, those two, you have to spend a lot of time. NFL is, because there's so much information out there, you really have to dig deep to get an edge over kind of the available information. College football, there is no information, so you really have to come up with it yourself a lot of places. So pretty different, but I both think they require a lot of work. But I do think it's been the most time in NFL than college football. Baseball, you can really, if you get into your routine, you don't have to, there's not as much late-breaking information or things like that.
You just had a Rodgers incomplete. They called it incomplete to Richard Rodgers. So 4th down, that might be the last of Aaron Rodgers that we see. But Max, a great weekend for you. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Are you winning any qualifiers?
I do think I'm winning the 1K one. I had a huge lead. I haven't checked in the last little bit, but I assume I'm still holding it. I was in good place for a second, but Rodgers did a little too much, but overall.
Yeah. All right. Well, congratulations for the big weekend, Hill, and I'm sure we'll be seeing more of you, if not in Vegas, definitely. So, so that's Max Dallery. Max showing some chest, just like Socrdave is. Both showing chest. So appreciate you joining us, Max. And we'll see you we'll see you later. All right, so we're going to go right now to Daniel Horn. Daniel Horn currently in first place of the DraftKings play action. I think he's still in first place. There's been a few scores. There's been the James Jones completion. James Jones has moved baggage claim into 3rd place. So that catch, 139 yards and 7 catches. All right. So, Daniel, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
I can. So, Daniel, are you still currently in first place in the play action?
Yeah, I am. But this guy in 3rd, he's got Charles, and Chiefs just got the ball back. So I don't know how that's going to be.
Yeah. How many points back is he? I just have your lineup in front of me on paper.
He's 5 back. So I got 284.3. He's got 279.3.
Let's talk a little bit about this lineup. You went with the old wide receiver, running back, and quarterback stack. I'm guessing you were convinced there's going to be a lot of offense in Cincinnati.
Well, yeah, I figured Dalton at the price he was at. I was like, Baltimore hadn't really been playing that well all year. I mean, the Raiders torched him, so I figured like Cincinnati would probably have their way. And AJ Green, he's so solid. And I think what was so key for me though on this lineup was the fact that I was able to get Freeman for so cheap as the flex and give me those 3 wide receivers, Allen, Fitzgerald, and Green. I mean, those were my huge point getters right there. And then Freeman obviously too was huge. And Greg Olsen, I mean, this team was pretty stacked other than Bernard with 11 and the Falcons with 3. I could have done a little better there, but other than that, pretty solid.
When Adrian Peterson is your 3rd highest or 3rd lowest score next to Gio Bernard and the Falcons D, like that you're having a really good day. Your lineup: Andy Dalton, Gio Bernard, Adrian Peterson, and then like you said, your 3 wide receivers: Keenan Allen, Larry Fitzgerald, AJ Green, and then you had Greg Olsen and Devonta Freeman. Like really was a solid team, and you're currently winning $15,000 in that. Are you playing anything else this week?
I mean, I'm in a few other pools that I'm winning some chump change in, but this is obviously my big one right here. And I've only been playing this for a couple weeks. So this is, I played FanDuel a lot and just came over to DraftKings, a couple weeks ago. So this is pretty sweet. Even if I don't get the first, I mean, I'm probably in for at least 10K. So that's nothing to complain about either.
Yeah. When you're winning 5 figures, especially after playing just 2 weeks, it's fun. And, the nice thing is that you're not sweating kickers right now.
No.
So Daniel, and you live in Oregon?
I do. Yeah, obviously the Ducks got hammered on Saturday, but it made up for it. This is making up for it. So
I didn't want to say anything about your Ducks. Man, they had a rough start. What's with the quarterback situation there?
Well, I mean, Vernon Adams has that finger. I don't care who you are. Anybody with a broken finger, it's going to be hard to throw the ball. But I don't know. It's anytime you lose a Heisman Trophy winner at any position, you're going to take a step back. Did I think it'd be this far of a step? No, but I think they can. I mean, there's still a long season. They can still have time to figure it out. Obviously, they're not in the national title picture anymore, and they shouldn't be. I mean, I was never sold on them as far as that went. Totally, I thought they could maybe get there, but they didn't have a championship defense, and obviously the quarterback play hasn't been consistent enough. So that's kind of where they're at.
Yeah, I don't think that Lockie's the guy. You should play daily fantasy college football if you're not already, because you sound like you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that they had that, so I'm actually going to check that out probably this week.
It's like fantasy football. It's like NFL fantasy football on steroids. So the fact that you already know so much, that's basically that's a good thing. As the pass to Charles goes incomplete. All right, so
Nice.
I have Drew Dinkmeyer, one of the fellow DraftKings analysts. We've been having this debate, Mariota versus Luck. I'm guessing that you're going to be on the Mariota side.
Well, yeah, he never lost to Luck.
He did never. Yeah, he did. He did not lose to Luck.
Actually, the Ducks didn't lose to Luck when Luck was at Stanford. Chip Kelly never lost to Luck.
Yeah, Chip Kelly now with the Eagles. Do Oregon fans have like bad taste in their mouth towards Chip Kelly?
I did for a little while, but now I'm kind of just like I wished him success in the NFL. Now I don't really care anymore. I mean, I'm so focused on the Ducks, and I'm also a Chargers fan. I was from San Diego, so but yeah, the Chip Kelly, I think he kind of thinks he's like the smartest guy in the room some of the time and doesn't want to listen to what other people have to say. And that's kind of come to bite him in the ass. And he was kind of like that at Oregon, but he was kind of like our own weasel. So we didn't really care. We're kind of like, if he was a coach of another team, we might hate him. But since he's the coach of our team, he's all right. That's kind of how we felt. So I think at this point, there's actually, after that game, I was at the game on Saturday in Eugene. And after the game, some people you could hear on the path walking back talking Chip Kelly should come back, to Oregon. And I don't think it would have mattered who was on the sideline for Oregon on Saturday. So,
yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure, Daniel, talking to you. The Chiefs are now off the field, so it goes back to the Packers, and we'll see what they will do. But right now, you are in that first place in the 200K play action, winning $15,000. So for only your second week on DraftKings, that's pretty cool. And yeah, if you play on those other sites, then hopefully you will also. I mean, if you play the other slates as far as college football goes, you'll enjoy it as well. So, Daniel Horn, DHorn91, currently in first place. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you later.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks.
All right. So that was Daniel, and it looks like they tried to. I'm guessing there's a replay on that because it didn't look like he got it. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see there. But we've got 3.5 minutes left. Can we get Baggage Claim on right now? Let's get him on. Baggage Claim currently in third. And Zach, we've been talking to you throughout the night. You're in third place now. How does that feel?
Honestly, it's insane. I had no idea that. I mean, I thought there was a possibility of getting like top 10, but the pay jumps are just so big when you get this deep. So oh man, sorry, just watching the game.
Yeah, that was a big
it's
hit.
just so sweaty right now with all these people with Cobb behind and this drive by KC here. So
yeah,
feeling good though.
Yeah, as Terrence Woods gets nailed, you have to think that this is like the last play. Like I think the Packers offense are pretty much done after this.
Yeah, it seems like it. I wasn't sure, but it didn't seem like Cobb played that last drive.
I think he played maybe that last possession. But you have a guy in 8th and a guy in 5th that have they all have Packers. But James Jones, 29.9.
Okay, pick.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So we got a pick there, and that's probably going to be the end, or just garbage time. So, man, $350,000. What were you winning when you started the night?
I think 3.
3,000 to 350,000. And I know your buddies, Samuel, Goodnight Moon, all those guys are cheering for you. So, man, you just definitely, it would be nice. Like, are you hoping that at this point, do you hope that maybe, I guess they called it back, or a penalty? Yeah, I guess they called it a penalty on Green Bay. But are you hoping there's a slim chance that James Jones might catch like a third down pass and get to that second spot?
Yeah, let me look at oh man, so close. I'm trying to decide whether I would just take it right now or risk it. Probably just take it right now.
Yes. Because you do have someone behind you with Mizzy Cal, and you guys were
someone had Charles as well.
Yeah, and you guys were neck and neck, and it was that long James Jones pass, and the Chiefs were actually offsides. We thought it might have been coming back, but it did not.
He almost scored too.
Yeah, so would have been crazy, but a great play with James Jones, and this game, as far as the Green Bay side, had as much offense as we thought it would.
Yeah, I have to give Evan Silva credit for that James Jones pick. I don't think I would have been on him otherwise.
Yeah, I'll tell him you said that. All right. Well, Zach, I really appreciate you being on. Right now, you're winning $350,000 or 200. Is it 250 or 350?
Honestly, I haven't looked.
You haven't looked at how much? Okay, it's 250. I'm sorry. I gave you an extra $100K. I'm sorry. But you're winning $250,000 on that play. So really appreciate you being on, and this is probably going to be the end. So enjoy the night, and hopefully you stay in that third place spot.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me on these few times. This was awesome.
Oh, not a problem. Zach is you can tell that he is excited, and he's one of those guys that you say, hey, you're winning $250,000. He says, yeah, that's awesome. Like, just even kill, cool guy. So maybe can we get Drew and Andrew on to close the show? Can we talk to them? Because I still have this get to know your backup QB game. Okay, so Dink is here.
Hey, guy.
Hey, I'm here too.
Oh, both of you are here. Very nice.
Yeah.
Thoughts on how this game has kind of ended? Like, we have had starters into like the full, like up until the 2-minute warning. We're gonna have starters playing this game.
Well, it hasn't ended. In fact, it won't end. This drive looked like it was going to end a bunch of times, and they just keep it going. I would prefer the game end myself. So.
And if they score, they go for 2. They kick the onside. They go for 2. OT all of a sudden.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, but definitely some garbage fantasy points being handed out here. Well, not really, because no one's really caught on this drive. There hasn't been Charles. Kelsey might have had one grab, but I'm just waiting to see Kelsey get a touchdown. I don't know. I just want the game done.
All right. Andrew, we got to give you credit face-to-face on this Gary Barnidge pick. Did you really go all in on him?
No, of course not. Yeah, I mean, it was just a flyer. Oakland, it was Eifert week 1 and then Crockett Gilmore week 2, and now Gary Barnidge. So there's maybe some sort of trend emerging there if you want to play tight ends against Oakland. I was kind of hoping Cutler would be back this week, Martellus Bennett, but it sounds like I think Cutler's already been downgraded to doubtful. So I don't know if I can trust Jimmy Clausen. He's pretty terrible, but Martellus will definitely be in consideration this week, especially with Gronk not playing.
All right, there's a fumble, but the Chiefs did recover, like you said. They
They
just do not quit. But anyways, Adam Levitan scoffed at you when you mentioned the Gary Barnidge pick on the matchup show. I just wanted you to be able to basically get that in. All right. Let's play a game called Get to Know Your Backup Quarterback.
No more games.
Yes. Oh, did you see the picture of the guy that had the spoon?
Yes.
He tweeted it. That definitely might be a thing. Oh, man. There's going to be a first down here. Or close to it. Maybe a bad spot. But yeah, that was the spoon instead of a cup is going to be gold. All right. You've got 4 quarterbacks. Luke McCown, Josh McCown, Mike Vick, and I'm including the other McCown brother just because Manziel was the quarterback last week, even though he came back. Let's just go with it. Mike Vick and Brandon Weeden.
No Jimmy Clausen?
Yeah, you're leaving out Clausen.
Okay, forget Clausen.
Santa Clausen?
He doesn't fit into because Clausen would be easy on this. So yeah, I did leave out Clausen. I'm sorry, but you know where Clausen went to college, right? Andrew, do you know where he went to college?
No. I don't watch any college whatsoever.
The Hunchback of
Notre Dame.
Nope, he did. No, I'm just kidding. He did. And he's a younger guy. I want you to put those 4 quarterbacks in order: Luke McCown, Josh McCown, Mike Vick, Brandon Weeden. Order of age. Andrew, you go first.
Oldest first?
No, youngest first.
Okay. Who's the 4th one? McCown brothers, Vick and
Brandon Weeden.
Okay. I don't know much about the younger McCown. I think that the older McCown's the oldest. I'm going to do it backwards. Older McCown's oldest, then Vick, then Weeden, then youngest McCown.
Okay, Drew, would you like to go?
Do you have to specify which McCown is youngest and which is oldest?
Well,
I don't know which
I'm giving Andrew the
Okay,
pass.
Josh is the older one. I know that.
Okay. All right, and Drew.
So I would guess that Luke is the youngest. I would guess that. Oh man, Weeden's old. But I don't know. I would go. Okay, Luke, Vic, Weeden, Josh.
Nope. Brandon Weeden's the youngest at 31.
Then
Luke McCown, then Vic, then Josh. Luke McCown 34, Mike Vick 35, Josh McCown 36.
Yeah, Vic's old. Vic is looking kind of old too. Not in so much the way he was playing, although that as well, but just seeing him. I hadn't seen Vic in a while. He looks 35. It's not the young spry guy.
He is not. Drew, since Andrew doesn't watch college, where did Mike Vick go to college?
Virginia Tech.
And Brandon Weeden?
Oklahoma State.
And Josh McCown?
One of the McCown brothers went to Louisiana Tech. I don't know which one.
That is correct. Wow, that's Luke McCown. Where did Josh McCown go?
I have no idea on Josh McCown.
BYU or Sam Houston State?
I would have guessed Sam Houston State.
It is Sam Houston State. Jamal Charles just got a touchdown, and they're going for 2. So if you have
this game won't stop.
It won't end. This is when you're watching, you're currently winning, just waiting for the update, knowing it's going down. Is there a worse feeling?
No.
I don't know. What if you have Jamal Charles though?
Well, wait, what did that do for the MIllionaire? Let's talk about real sweats.
It did. And Vinny Idle went into 5th place with Jamal Charles. Charles only has 49 rushing yards and 33 receiving yards, but has 3 touchdowns. So he's at 31.2. And he could actually jump PS Rose right here with a 2-point conversion. And if he catches it, he could also potentially jump baggage claim into 3rd place.
Wow.
So that's definitely the sweat to
watch. You were calling this game over like 5 minutes ago, and I was thinking.
I thought it was. There's another guy in 8th place.
Right.
There's another guy in 8th place with Kelsey and Jamal Charles, Bleed Blue, 10 OBJ. Bleed Blue. That's a Kentucky name. I guarantee.
No, Bleed Blue OBJ. That's a Giants fan.
Okay.
I wasn't sure because the scoring was so high yesterday that I thought maybe no one would even be contending, and no one's really threatening for first. But
how about the fact that if I said going into the weekend you could have 275 points on DraftKings, how many people would think that they would be a millionaire? And that's 50th place right now in the Millionaire Maker, which is great money, $4,000, but not the money you'd expect for 275 points.
Yeah,
bananas.
They just missed the 2-point conversion, so a little bit of a double pump and a bad throw. So now what we're gonna have is the old onside and try, but now they're down 10. So it's really just a matter of the hands team getting the ball. You've got 2 timeouts left, but I'm not even sure they'll use them. Maybe they will. Up a minute 38, they'll probably use them, which means we've got more time to chat in this game. I should pull up more trivia questions, but
we should do another round of Family Feud. It went so well.
Great idea, though.
Yeah, we'll be doing more games. Like as these sweat shows like continue, we're going to go. We'll be doing more games. We've actually got some of the local dessert joints in Boston going to come in and do dessert live segments.
I'll come in the studio for that one.
Okay, yeah, Drew, you come in studio. You come in November when I will be on daddy duty with my second one, so you can handle the dessert life section then.
Yeah.
The onside kick, and they try to do some trickeration. It does not work, so that should do it. Let's talk a little bit though about the Max Dowry interview that just happened. He said he had Randall Cobb in 100% of his lineups.
That guy's an animal.
And you know what sorts of volume that he plays.
I kind of wonder if he's having a bigger week than the Millionaire Maker winner.
Yeah.
Like I'm not sure, like who'd had Max? Not sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly having a monster week. I don't know if he was winning. He said he was going to win 1 seat. Didn't sound like he was really threatening in the GPPs a ton, but I mean, from the guys he said he was heavy on, he must have won every single cash game that he played, which is a lot for that guy. I mean, he's got to be the highest volume player in the industry, right?
Yeah, I definitely think he's the highest volume player in the industry. So for this to be like one of his best weekends ever,
yeah,
you know that it's a pretty good weekend.
Pretty sick
for NFL. So yeah, this game they did call a timeout, so they've got another running play, which means the Chiefs will have how sick would it be if like they go to Jamal Charles or Travis Kelce for like a 40 or 50 yard garbage time pass?
Like the equivalent of that DeAndre Washington catch in Texas Tech TCU, like on the Hail Mary that the quarterback got wrapped up and then he dumped it off and the running back caught it and ran like 30 yards. That would be a disaster for whoever's in first right now, for Hoot Head and everyone else.
So Vinny Idol has James Jones, Mizzy Cow, Randall Cobb in 6th. Bleed Blue has Kelce and Jamal Charles, and man, we were like really close to this team in 10th. Had Rodgers and Randall Cobb,
and Macklin.
Yeah. So they still could do something, but
that's incredible. Like I played some Monday and Thursday contests this week, and I have like 140 points from like 3 guys, from 4 guys, from Rodgers, Charles, Cobb, and Jones. It's totally nuts. Cool. Like the game stack that you could have had with this game.
Sick brag, bro.
Got that in there.
All right, let's look at a picture that we have from Millhouse. At Millhouse, he says, "Soccer Dave, I lost my cup," and it's a picture of him with a spoon on his nose. So, Man, I just wish we had Peter. Peter would give some amazing responses. I'm quite sure that he would give some amazing responses.
I wish we had Peter on during the Max interview to hear Max as part of Team Mariota as well.
Yeah, in fact, I don't think we had Adam Levitan at first saying that he would go with Luck. Other than that, it was a sweep.
Are you guys serious? Like, I don't know. I haven't seen him play enough, but that seems like a really ridiculous claim to make just because Luck's had a few bad games here.
Luck hasn't just had a few bad games. I'm going to throw that out there.
The second half of last season, he was not particularly great. That's true.
Luck's career is an above-average quarterback so far. He hasn't been a great quarterback in his career, except when he plays the Jags and Titans. And when he plays those teams, he's awesome. When he plays everybody else, he's just an above-average quarterback. He's good, but I don't think he's what everyone else thinks he is.
Hit him with it, Drew. Hit him with it. Hit him with the truth.
16-2 in division in his career, barely above 500 out of division. Adjusted yards per attempt.
16-2, Andrew. Hit him with it, Drew. Hit him with another one.
Adjusted yards per attempt in division is something like 7.6. Out of division for him is like 6.7 adjusted yards per attempt. Last year was his first year in the top 10 in adjusted yards per attempt, and he finished 7th.
Okay. Yeah. He does turn the ball over, too. I'll give you that. Would you say slightly Richmond's Jay Cutler?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's the dream scenario of what people hope Jay Cutler would be. But he's not. I don't know. There's a lot of guys that I'd rather have over Andrew Luck that would probably be hot takes, like Russell Wilson, Cam Newton.
I don't know. I don't know if those are that hot. But I was thinking about this over the weekend. Do you think that Stafford is basically Jay Cutler if Cutler had Megatron in his prime?
Yeah. Stafford's a worse quarterback than Jay Cutler, I think.
Yeah, I don't think most people. That's not the common perception. I don't believe, but he's not very good.
Yeah, he's never gotten better. He just plateaued his whole career. And I hope Luck keeps getting better. He's still really young. He's still got tons of years ahead of him. But Luck kind of hasn't really, to me, shown a lot of growth year over year.
I mean, it's such a ridiculously hard position because you see, I mean, Cutler gets knocked down so much, and for a good reason, he turns the ball over a lot. But when you plug in someone like Jimmy Clausen, I mean, they can't. And granted, it was against Seattle, but I mean, they didn't even try. I don't think they got over half field once. Like, it was pathetic.
Just want to throw this in there. We got 12 seconds left. Travis Kelce, if he gets 20 yards here, he gets 20 yards, 2 points, plus the 1 point for the catch, plus the bonus, which is 3 points, which would put him at 6 points, which would put him at 293.32 and would put him in third place. They actually were looking at him. He got sacked, and that is the game.
That'll do it. So congratulations to Hoothead.
Congratulations, Hoothead. That'll do it for the show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the DraftKings Week 3 Sweat Show live from Boston. Special guest to Adam Levitan joining me in the first quarter, and my guys, Andrew Wiggins, Drew Dinkmeyer, for handling halftime and the second half. Always fun hanging out with fellow DraftKings analysts and playing other games. So, listen, this season's going to be full of games. So, Andrew, you have a chance to redeem yourself. Trust me, next week, it's Drew that loses all of his dignity.
It's a good bet.
So thanks to Andrew and Drew. Also, thanks to everyone that joined us via video chat, via phone. It was fun chatting with all those guys. It has been a pleasure. Appreciate everyone viewing, interacting with pictures and everything. This stuff is only going to get better. So we'll be back next week. Again, Sunday night, we'll have the Sweat Show. And then Monday night, 8:30 p.m., we'll be here every Monday with sweet, sweet DFS music playing for you. So until then, we'll talk to you later. I'm Socrdave David Kitchen, and welcome to the big time.